says you're going live. Are we live? Oh, I don't even know if the mic. Oh no. Hopefully the mic's working. If somebody jumps on, let me know if the mic's working. All right. So basically, pretty much with like all live streams, I kind of start out with something, and then we are more than welcome. If you're new, if you're old, if you're in between, kind of like me, you're more welcome to ask any questions. If you wouldn't mind, give it a thumbs up. Just helps bring more people in, which is always great. We love people in the community. So my question, and I believe after the video's done, you are able to comment after the live. Now, obviously, if you're on here during the live, fantastic. Love to see you. Love to hear your comments. But what I wanted to come to you, I was talking to Mr. K still, and what we were talking about in an email going back and forth was, and I don't know if this changed. And this is why I need somebody out there's been dealing with this. And I want to know if we can still, can we ship LiftMaster rails or Genie rails? And what I'm talking about is like UPS, right? The little brown trucks, UPS. And I don't think you can. I don't know if that's changed. So that's why I'm looking for your guys' help, because for some reason a while back, this is quite a few moons ago, I noticed I couldn't ship UPS the rails. You know, and if you ever look, like typically if you look online, which I might even look right now, while people are warming up, getting their dinner all figured out. And like I said, you guys are more welcome to ask any questions, business, personal, politics, what truck you should drive, what vehicle brand you should buy. I just play it. I'm just having a little fun. I'm here for you. I didn't get to do my normal Tuesday. I don't remember what happened Tuesday, but Tuesday was busy. But I'm curious to know about these rails. I'm pretty sure you still can't get opener rails shipped UPS. I'm pretty sure they have to be brought on a semi truck. So the reason I want to bring this up, I appreciate the like. Thank you. The reason I bring this up is because, you know, if you're kind of in between and you're thinking about, like, you know, maybe you're buying the box store openers. Oh, look at Mr. Sky already jumps in. He's not going to hang in the back tonight. Cheers. Got me some old ice water tonight. No moonshine. But I don't think you can get these openers. Let me get real here. Get serious. Pumped up for some reason tonight. But I don't think you can ship these, and it's a real pain in the butt. So that's why sometimes guys starting out and doing stuff, I'm like, use the box stores. Use the box stores. What does Tony got? Ooh, raspberry tea for me, he says. Man, that sounds pretty good, actually. That sounds real. I'm jealous. Come on, Tony. I know you're messing with this stuff. Can you get opener shipped? Come on. Come on. I know you can get them done semi, right? But I'm trying to help out these younger guys, or the guys that are starting to kind of switch over, because I don't think you can. I think it's still, you can't get the rails. That's why I told you I was going to jump on here for a second. Let me jump on here. You guys bring in the questions. I'm going to jump on the old eBay. eBay does not lie, man. I'm telling you. What kind of opener should I look up? Let's do a LiftMaster. I don't even know what model to do. I can't do a jack shaft, obviously. Is it the 81550? You guys, LiftMaster's got all these silly numbers now. It drives me nuts. 81550 eBay. Let's do it. Oh, here we go. $249. $249. Can't really see that. Sorry. Glare. This one's $654. Holy moly, for that price. The heck's it come with? It's Bluetooth, come operator. Is it going to say with rail? It didn't say the description. Mobile, LiftMaster. Okay. So it says with rail. Why the heck is it so much? 81.55.0. What? Okay, so Tony says from Service Spring. Okay. Okay. I know, man. That's crazy. $654 and 29 cents is what it killing me. And I don't know if that's because they're going to send it like a semi truck. It almost wants to zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. But it was weird because see, when I was ordering them, I couldn't get them. I couldn't get them through like LiftMaster. They were like they all had to come semi. So if you tried to order 1, 2, or 3, it got to be real expensive. So I don't know if it's changed through UPS. And Service Spring can get away with it. If they can, that's awesome. Does anybody have any idea what they're charging roughly through Service Spring for an opener, or anybody got one recently that's got shipped to them in any model except a jack shaft? Got to get that rail, man. That rail's where the whack you. What's up, Patrick? I see the wave. I'll do the wave back. Yeah, Service Spring has the white glove service. If you live within a few hours. Oh, Tony, you're cut off by the heart. What is this? If you live within a few hours. Service Spring has the white glove service. Oh, come on, Tony. What the heck? Is that because are you trying to tell me you're going to Service Spring? I need for the guys that are out in the rural area up here in northern Michigan, where it's like 2 hours to the local gas station. That's what I want. So, and I'm concerned because I think some of the younger guys, when I was emailing the one gentleman, he's dealing with the box stores right now, and he's trying. We've already talked about this on another one. He's trying to get with LiftMaster, and I believe maybe Lanier, but at least LiftMaster, right? And I was like, they're not that easy to deal with, as far as because unless you're making big orders, that's just my opinion. You're buying skids at a time of certain models. It seems like it's not so bad. You got to be a big boy, big player. What's Tristan got here? Do you guys who wear Carhartt clothing work better than the ones who don't? Hey, you gotta remember. Says no gloves here. Can't work in them. Tony, you and your gloves, man. I love gloves. And here's the big reason. A lot of guys give me the guys I've worked with over the years, they'll be like, "Why are you wearing gloves? I can't wear gloves." And I always wear those real thin ones. I think the Gorilla or something makes them. But my biggest reason is I don't have to wash my hands. I take my gloves off and I go in my vehicle, and my steering wheel stays nice and clean. My radio stays nice and clean. Everything in my vehicle stays nice and clean. But I'll go in the guys, typically, not always, but some of those guys don't have the wipes and all that kind of stuff, are just not real good at washing, blah, blah. And I mean, you go in there. I mean, I remember one guy cleaned, he had the service vehicle, I think, for a couple years, maybe. And he really didn't do much in there. Steering wheel was all caked full of the radio had a button. You could tell which station he always pushed on. I mean, it was just caked. I was like, oh, I got in there and I was like, I wanted to put gloves on just to even ride in the thing. I was like, this thing is disgusting. So you almost got to, like, twice a year is the way I'd like it to be. You got to gut the vehicle, and then you got to take it into somewhere that actually does professional cleaning. And it's going to cost, $300 to $600 for them to go through and clean everything. But it's just really what should happen because they just get filthy. So your pants, your clothes. But anyways, back on that Carhartt thing. I do love Carhartt. I'm not gonna lie. They've made my career for me. But I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought Carhartt did kind of a no-no back when the cough syndrome was going on. I feel like they were doing kind of a no-no. I forget what it was, but it really discouraged me. And so I ended up I was trying to divert, and it's hard because they're ingrained everywhere. Hats, jackets, overalls, and some of their products are just good. You know what I mean? And I can't remember what they did. Does anybody remember what they did? I don't know if they were letting boys kiss boys or if they were. I forget what they were doing, but I remember it kind of put a bad taste in my mouth, and I thought, I don't really like that. But like I said, too, if anybody knows for sure, I don't know if I got a direct out of Tony or not. Tony's my jokester. I know he's out there. He's probably driving to a service car right now. But like I said, I don't think you get opener rails shipped. Maybe Service Spring will. If that's the case, great. But like I said, it's a problem, those rails. I think it was just over a little bit. And the big thing you got to watch out too, to be honest. Sometimes you order these rails, they're damaged. I mean, they're all tweaked. I mean, I've had them all jacked up before. Because if they don't come in like quantities of 4 or whatever, and they wrap it and put boards around it, they can just be all jacked up. So sometimes it's real hard to order onesies. You know, onesies are hard. They just get beaten up on big time. Hey, I'm trying to stay with you. We're out to dinner. Oh, nice. Enjoy dinner, man. Get off your phone. Get off your phone. Enjoy that dinner. Especially got the wife-a-tron, you know. Get over there and give her a few smoochies and tell her we're going to talk about how the grass is going to grow. I don't know. I tried to get dinner with one of the kids tonight and I got turned down. So I had a dinner of solo tonight. I felt like I felt like a rebel again. Um live live band. Dang, nice. Must be addicted to garage door talk. That's all right, Tony. You could take a break. We know you're good for it. Oh, gotcha. Can't be worse than what Bud like. Yes, yes. Ah, that's probably what it was, Tristan. Thanks for putting that in there. You're right. Okay, so they went. I won't say it because I'll get whacked on the old Facebook algo here. But car started making drag. Oh my gosh! Come on, Tanner. Don't be. Don't. I hope that is not the truth, man. I don't doubt it. Man, I tell you, it's sad. See, I try to vote with my wallet, with my dollars, and that's why I'm kind of like I've been real hesitant. Um, I'm trying to think of that one company. Is it is it Pangoria or something like that? They make some clothing. I don't know about really heavy apparel, but I've been trying to go their route a little bit. Um, some of their products not too bad. It's just not real prevalent. I have to order all the stuff offline. And it's really sad because we have a company around here that's probably 35 minutes, 40 minutes away, one way. And they got a whole little building, right? A whole little, just a building full of everything. I mean, it's like if you needed something Carhartt, that's where you go. You know what I mean? I even bought a jumpsuit that I tell you what, that is phenomenal. It's like a mechanic suit. It works great for working on your own vehicles. It works great for just doing any kind of project that you just put on like your old grandpa. You put it all on and you put it up and you zip it. It's navy blue. I don't think they do a black one. If they had a black one, I'd get a black one. But they it's sweet because it just keeps your other clothes somewhat clean and not bashed up. Oh man, that's crazy. So I got a little off topic, but like I said, if you got any questions, bring it on in. Like I said, thanks for bringing up the car. That's always good too. Um, but yeah, that's a bummer about. It's really sad. It's really sad with some of the stuff that's going on. I just can't drink Bud anymore. What's always weird to me is what gets me. It's why I kind of almost don't even believe in any of this stuff anymore, right? I'm sure you guys, if you're about my age, you've noticed that over the years how the decline and like I was watching was it Kid Rock? And I think he's kind of switched back or something. Now he's in cahoots again. Like it's okay. And I thought even Mr. T was kind of thinking, oh, they made a mistake, but it's you know what I mean. You know what I mean. And it's just kind of like I think sometimes this is all Hollywood. It's all just shows and acting, and it just it's hard to believe anything really. You know what I mean? That's why sometimes I think I'm just going to turn it off because it's kooky out there. It's really kooky out there. I can show you one though. This one was a pretty good one. And I was listening to this guy and he talks about the Cantillon effect. Oh, Tony's sending me stuff already. We love Tony. Um, let me see if I can show you here. But if you know, some of this stuff is obviously, but this was a pretty good episode, I thought. I don't know if anybody ever watches this guy. I don't know if I even say it or what. I don't know how this stuff shows, but this is an uneducated economist. And so it says the falling economy and the desperate attempt to save it. That was what it was posted. It looks like it was uploaded about 3 hours ago. He's a pretty good dude. I like I like the Cantillon effect. I'm learning about the Cantillon effect, and he talks about the decline and stuff like that. It's pretty good stuff. It talks. It seems like it relates to a lot of what we see. Like I don't know if you're like me, the kind of the millennial that when I was a kid. I'll get into this. Like I said, so when I was when I was a kid, it seemed like the cabins and people had what we call disposable income. And as I was a kid and I was on my dad's little bench seat of his truck and we go up north and stuff like that. Maybe in the 80s were somewhat, maybe towards the late 80s is when I seen stuff start kind of, but you start noticing these cabins not getting fixed up so much, all of a sudden, the roofs kind of get in bad shape. Then the tarps come out. And then it's like, oh my gosh, this place is closed or it's up for sale. Nobody's buying it. And wow, this place hasn't been mowed in years. And it's just crazy to me how the economy has really changed over the years. And there's still money out there, obviously, of some sort, but boy, stuff is super expensive. I mean, it's obviously, I'm sure you're all feeling it. I'm sure Tony's feeling it. He's uh, out to dinner probably. He's gonna have a 60 to 120 or $300 bill, depending if there's drinks. So it gets pricey. It's just crazy how this stuff is really um, gone up in the world. That's what I know. Let me check here. Anything you guys seen anything? What are you guys paying for garage doors? Anybody? What are you guys paying for garage door openers? Does anybody buy from like for a lot of these guys out here too? I think you got to find. I don't know if some of the guys aren't looking hard enough. Tony says, "Yep, I'm buying." Where you at, Tony? I'll be down there. You can buy for me too. But I'm just curious if we got some numbers of roughly what people are buying these openers for. Um, what's up, Eric? He says, "Hi, how you doing?" And like I said, if you guys got anything you want to pick my brain about, got anything we can bring up, go for it. Like I said, I'm just here for you. I got till I probably got about an hour ish before things light up around here, and I gotta jump off at some point. But I got done. I went out. I actually went out. I went out and did a service call. I was a big boy today. I did a service call. Got the old. I got a video for you. It's gate related though. You guys don't like the gates. You guys are garage door guys. I know, but the gates are still good, and it can help. I know there's a couple guys out there do the gates. If they're close, you can't do them far away. Kind of like everything though. Like I said, every time the older I get, the farther you travel, it is just horrible. Horrible. I mean, I was out to this evening, and I can't tell you. I don't know if it's just my area, but I mean, the way people are driving, cutting people off. You know how it is, like when you come up to somebody and you go, man, that person's driving like a real jerk, and their car's all banged up and taillights smashed out, and you're like, I wonder how that happened. You know what I mean? Because you drive like an idiot. And as I was done with dinner, I was coming back a kind of a good area, right? And I watched a truck pull over. The road's not real wide. There's mailboxes and trees and everything. They pull off the side of the road. They're not even off the road. They're half in the road. They just pulled out of a driveway, and instead of like pulling back in the driveway, it was, and I'm literally like sitting there, and I'm like, so I got to stop. And let's just say it was a girl and a girl, and the one comes out of the house across the street to like hug or kiss or something, and I'm like, you're blocking traffic. Like, get off the road, go down the road, go into another road, turn around, come back. Like you're, and the bad part is I passed, and then there was like 3 or 5 more cars behind me that had to wait to get around because there's traffic coming. It's just insane, man. Just insane. It blows my mind. And so that's why I say the travel, because every minute you're on that road longer, and that's why it's that hidden tax we talk about. You traveling, man, you're traveling, and that's liability. You get into a car accident. My biggest fear has always been, like, especially if you go back to a warranty issue and it was something that could have been avoided. That's my biggest fear. Like, I'm just gonna blow a top. Like, I might punch a vehicle. If I go and I'm going back to a warranty job and I get into a car accident, even though it could happen during any time, right? But it just makes it more like, especially when it was like, if I would have put one more knot in that emergency cord and it wouldn't have came out, and now I'm going back because that stupid pull cord, they pulled it off or something because I didn't put a secondary knot in it. Oh boy, I'd flip. I would flip. I'd be so upset at myself. Oh, great cat. Oh, you still down in Florida? What the heck, Tony? Come on, Tony. Make sure you send me some pictures, man. I need to know this place I'm crashing in the wintertime. I seen you. I know you sent me something. Let me just check this out. Oh, join us, it says. All right. Ooh. Ooh, he's got some good stuff here. What you got? That's a partner cast, huh? What's this all about? Nice. Nice. Is this open to the public, Mr. Tony? Or I don't want to just uh that's pretty cool. So what's it gonna be? You ever do one? Is this like a YouTube? Like we can ask all kinds of questions? It says, yep, I'm buying Sky 421. 421, okay, for a 7 foot for an 8 foot lift master. Okay, okay, sweet, sweet. That's belt drive, 2 remotes, and keyless and battery backup. Not bad. Not bad. I think that's pretty fair. I think that's pretty fair. Nothing too crazy. Sky, what do you, if you don't mind, do you know, you can just give me one of them if you want or something. What do you add on top of those? You add like 300 bucks for install, or I'm just kind of curious. You doubling them? Double might be too much. It's hard with the openers, right? Because it's like, I don't know. It's just tough giving those people. Sometimes they fall over. I mean, you got to think about it. I mean, so you can correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, if Sky is buying them for 421, right? But then you can go to the store and you can basically get that same model probably for 325, 350. It's tough. It's sad almost. I used to get beat up with that all the time with people be like, I'd be like, yeah, it's gonna be like $400 for install and open. They're like, I can go to the store and buy it for $179. Like, why are you so expensive? I'm like, because it's better quality. Like, we're gonna warranty it. And I don't know about this. I'll have to get back to you. Says, yeah, up there. Oh, nice. Nice. That's awesome. Daughter's killing it up there. That's sweet. That's cool. That's awesome. Might be able to share. Not sure. I'm not very computer friendly. Oh, that's all right. Like I said, I'm just saying, send me some pictures. I need to know where my Florida home's going to be for the wintertime. Um, but like I said too, Mr. Tony, I was thinking about that LiftMaster. If that's something more you can share on, I don't know if that's um, if that's going to be where anybody can jump on that like a YouTube stream. I didn't click on it too much. I had my picture in the way or something was going on. Okay, so what's Mr. Eric's got? Oh, and thanks. We got 10 of you guys. Like I said, if you guys don't mind, hit the like. It just helps out, brings more people in, more conversations. It's always fun. Helps L goes out for Lift Mat or for Lift Master. For Uncle Dave. Okay. It says I just encountered yet another LiftMaster 87504 with a dead board. Wow. Wow. Let me check that out real quick. I want to double check this guy and see these numbers. I got a book. Where is it? Let me grab this. This was about the end of my era right here. Yeah. Any boys got one of these? Yeah. Yep. You know, this is about the numbers I could relate to and remember. What do we got here? Where's the openers at, God darner? Oh, here we go. An 8355. This was my era. Not all those other crazy numbers. I used to actually be the next step down. But this is how we used to do it, you young bucks. You used to get all these once a year, and all your pricing, and now you guys are all digital. I don't think they do these anymore. Look at this big old clocker. That big old boy. Look how thick that puppy is, man. Whew. I can burn that for a month. Got all your kinds of stuff in here. Whew, man, getting a workout just holding it up. Ooh, gonna need a drink. All right. Oh, I gotta look up that thing. I'm sorry, squirrel. Boom, boom, boom. All right, let's do this. I'm gonna go LiftMaster. LiftMaster. This was the 887504. All right. Dang, somebody's got this for $1,000 on here. What in the flip flops? Will that zoom at all? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Maybe if I go like this. Look at that one in the middle. It's like 1,000. What is that? 1,073. Moving Up Garage. Is that their company? My gosh, they are going to be moving up. Whew. Wow. Some of this stuff, man, if you're like a newbie or something, you have no clue. I mean, well, I don't know. I mean, I never got sucked into that kind of price. Oh, let's see this, man. God darn it. That food looks good, Tony. You know, did you have room in the truck? I could have, or in the, I don't know what you took, the van. What? I mean, like, I could have rode along. I won't even say much. I know I'm talkative here, but I wouldn't even said much. I just sit quietly. I'd brought my own money too. Tony's sending me pictures. He's got food going on. Throw it in my face. So that sucks. That really stinks about having a dead board. How long? So let's see here. So Eric, how if that just encountered yet another? Okay, so Eric, on that board, how long was it installed? I'm just curious. Was it 2 months, 3 months, 6 months? If you know, because I'm assuming that was one of the ones maybe that you installed, but maybe not, because you know how that goes sometimes. Times 3? Holy moly. No way, Sky. You're so times 3? Dude, no way. No way. You're getting that? Dude, where are you at? What city and state are you at? Again, I can't remember. Times 3. Holy cow. I mean, we might be able to double it in our area. We're probably like in the $600-$800 range for opener installs. But people don't want to spend. They don't, we're not high rollers around here. Killing it. Might be able to share. Let's see. You got that times 3. Wow. That's crazy. At Menards, you can get a 7-foot half chain drive, one remote for 200, 210. Wow. Out the door. That's what I'm saying, man. That's why, like, sometimes I feel like the box stores work against us. You know what I mean? Because it's I don't know. I feel bad if I'm telling somebody, if I'm like, well, our cheapest opener is 800, and you can go a little bit more up and it's 1500. And I don't know. You know what I mean? I feel like you got to offer financing. You know what I mean? Like, all right, we offer this financial or finance plan right here. You can take, and you can make 4 or 5 easy payments of 19.99. I don't know. But that's crazy too. Like I said, I tell you what, this is my feeling, my opinion. I go into the box stores, I go on Lowe's, I go Menards, I go to Home Depot, and I always look at the opener section, right? I'm just always fat, I see Lowe's. Um, I see Lowe's looks like they went back to Wayne Dalton, at least in my area. I don't know if that's across the board, but I was like, oh, it was like they went back to Wayne Dalton. That's kind of nice. Instead of the Richard, it's not Richard. What was it called before? It's Amar, and then it was like, is it right? Was it Right Built? Is that what it was called? Right Built? Because that's who I used to see in there. And then it was like, then it went to Wayne Dalton, then it went to Pella, which is a total lie. But those box stores, like I said, they're crazy, man. You go in there and it's like, I feel like the opener prices don't go up. I know they've gone up a little bit, maybe like 20, $50, maybe over the years. But I'm like, I still go in there. I'm like, I could buy a stinking opener for under $200. How can this be? And I know they're buying big quantities. And it's just amazing because we got a guy that's a big LiftMaster guy here in the state. And I can pretty much buy openers from him. Gosh, I think they were right around $50. I think right around $50 cheaper than what I could buy like a skid. I'm like, what the heck, man? I'm like, so, but it's always one of those things, you're kind of getting the credit, you're building up the relationship, in a sense. It just depends on how fast and what you want to do and where you want to go. But if you're out there, to my opinion, like I said, looking at it kind of back now for, 18 years being in it, if I was I would be cutting more for profit. That's going to go in my piggy bank, you know what I mean? Into the company's piggy bank. I wouldn't be so focused on, and like I said, this is me over the years. I wouldn't be so, like I don't ever get customers that wait for me that I've ever gone to and said, well, Dave, it's been 18 years now. This opener finally died. Did a very good job. I want you to install another good opener. And then I go, I don't even know if I can do that because now we got new models out here and I'm the guinea pig and I don't even know if these are proven or blah, blah, blah. Because I had when we were doing is it the 8165? I'm horrible with numbers. Back, in the 2007 era, you know what I mean? Those, man, I just pumped them. Boom, boom, boom. I just installed. Never, ever had callbacks. And then it was like when we did change, we had little quirks with the 8133, 8135. Started having glitches. And, it wasn't horrible enough yet, but then it started kind of progressively getting worse. And we said, you know what? We got to try something else, man. Tony says, I think Sky's in Oh, okay. Sky, are you in California? I think you are. You probably are if you're getting that kind of money, man. California. Hoorah. California. Sky, what's the weather over there, man? I'm just curious. I love warmer weather, man. Got any pictures like the beaches? You need to send me some pictures. California and Florida have some crazy drivers. I bet you're right. I was just thinking about that today. I was like, gosh, like, you go down to Florida because I watch a guy that does real estate and stuff down in Florida. And I was thinking, I was like, oh, it's probably just so much. And I thought, that's always not the case. You know what I mean? You guys got to kind of agree with me on this a little bit. Sometimes where even when there's money, they're still crazies, right? They just look better. They're kind of covered up, nicer clothes, nicer vehicles, but they're doing some really top notch stuff, if you know what I mean. And, but some of the people, man, I just look at their faces and driving down the road. There was an older lady. I think I was up north a little bit. Yeah. And I'm like, where did she even come from? And she just looks like she is just like, if I would have pulled over, she would have come running to me. She'd be like, hi, I need somebody to talk to. And I'm like, what are you on? I mean, because she just looked out of it. She didn't look like she was going for a jog. She just looked like she walked out of a house and she was walking down the road. And even when I passed and she was walking down the middle of the road, I'm like, don't look, don't look, don't look, don't look. Because then she'll get ran over. I'll have to stop. Install date. Okay, so here we go. He says install date on that LiftMaster is February 2023. Wow. Wow. Man, Eric, I'm really thankful for you sharing that. Like I said, that's too bad. So you got 8355. That was the one I was thinking of. So, Eric, I was thinking if you're saying the install date was February of 2023, did you install it? I'm just curious. Obviously, it's not your fault. I'm just wondering if you actually installed it or if it was somebody else installed it. Maybe. Um. So, Mr. Justin, with the opener, do you install? Okay, I jumped over ahead. So Tanner's got here, yeah, but they are a do-it-yourself opener. It's not the same thing. We know that, but the customers don't always understand that. And I think Tanner brings up a great point. And I think that's why I just like if some guys are starting out, um, it doesn't. I don't care how you wipe your hiney. You know what I mean? I'm just happy to have toilet paper, right? I don't have to use my hand. So with saying that, it's kind of like an opener, right? As long as it opens and closes the garage door, normally the customer doesn't care. It might take you a little longer to piece together the rails. There is some quirks to them. Yeah, I think it seems like they're always on the same stepping stone a little bit motor wise and everything. Um, to some degree. But like if you buy a LiftMaster right now compared to a Chamberlain, probably in the store, they're probably going to be pretty close in build wise, and the longevity is going to probably be about the same. Um, the one thing I always seen was when they did the cable slash chain, the cable would break notoriously over, I mean, they were 12, 15 years old. And I guess what I'm getting at though is like, if you can buy an opener, right? So like for us around here, right? If I look at an opener, it's $200 and I double it. That's $200. You know what I mean? That's like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's $200 a business makes. But if I buy something that's, $450 and I'm only now I'm going to put on $150. You know what I'm saying? And it is a better quality. There's no doubt about it. And I think they go together better. I mean, trust me, there's nothing better than ripping those boxes open with little strings on them with the LiftMaster and just having a nice quality, fully wrapped chain with a better bearing on the end. Um, they're nice. They're nice, But when I come to think of it, when I was talking to the one gentleman, he does the same thing I was doing when I was doing it through Lowe's. He would put the openers together, and that's what I recommend. I put them together at home or the shop, and it saved down on the time because the rails, you got to smash them together, and you look kind of violent when you're doing it to customer. At least I do. I look like a gorilla because I'm taking them, smacking them on the concrete, pounding them in, make sure they're all tight, and then but if the customer's there, then it's obviously a rubber hammer on the sawhorses and ting, 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 and more gentle. Um, so it just depends. Like I said, and the thing is what we don't understand, at least I didn't understand at the time, is that you also have now tech support. You almost have another secretary. And what I mean by that is I go, you have a problem with it, and you got the receipt. You throw that puppy right back in the box. You take it right back to the store. I got a problem. and you're out no money. I've seen it at the shop. We've been out a lot of money. You know what I mean? Because they get returned, they get thrown in the corner somewhere. Nobody knows what's going on with them. They get chucked. Somebody revamps it. Maybe it goes to a family member's house or something. Well, there's two, three, $400 of a unit that you're out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's nice to have that tech support behind you where you can take it back to the store. Now, in a perfect world, if you're having issues, then you should just bring two openers, and they fit really nice because they're in a nice little box. So, but like I said, it just depends on what level you're on. Totally different, Oh man, I see what's his name says. Sky says 80. 80 must be nice. We're warming up around here a little bit. We're gonna go on a cool. We were up about 72 last couple days, and now we're gonna be a high of over the weekend, I think of 48, almost talking frost this weekend. Gonna be a little cold. I just hope it doesn't hurt the produce, like the whatever, all the apple trees and stuff that are flowering. Give them a reason. So that was a good point, Tanner. That's a good point. I like that. Um, I always, you know what I always did too. I would spin it, right? I'd tell him, I said, you can, it just depended on what time frame I was on. I say, if you want to buy an opener, we'll install it. But I said, once the truck leaves, it's not covered. So you got to imagine, if you call me for another service call, it's 65, it's 85, it's $120. So are you really saving that much money? And they kind of, well, and some people will do it. Some people are like, nah, I'm just going to call my brother-in-law and give him a case of beer and do it over the weekend. Justin, what's Justin got? I had a good one this week. Customer lubricated his motor to the point the vegetable oil he used was dripping out of the head. Holy cow, man. This is a good one. We we was confused. We had weird electric problems with his opener. Holy moly. So I'm wondering, Justin, so now you got my brain spinning here. Was it a newer opener? Like, how old was it? Like, I mean, what's up with that, man? Customer, I mean, people do some weird things. That's why I always talked about sometimes. I talked about those stickers because the anti-tamper stickers, because it really irritated me a lot. You go out there, you do this, right? You do a perfectly good job. It's you that installed it, right? You, the man or the woman. You know what I mean? Like you're just so proud, you know your stuff. You've been doing it for X amount of time. You're the man or you're the woman. You know what I mean? Like you got this. And you get that phone call and they're like, we're having problems. And you're like, no, you're not. You're the problem. I mean, what? There's no way. I installed this. There's no way you're having a problem. Like I installed. And you go back and it's like doing something. And now you have to play this whole like, was it me? Was it the truck I was driving that day? Was it the power tool? Was it my clothes? Did my clothes thing? Was it was it Fluffy that walked under the door when I was trying to set the limits? What was it? The customer? And then they'll come out later on and they'll give you a little clue or something. Like, oh yeah, last week I was trying to program this to my car, and you're like, so you mean to tell me you were like up on a ladder up here touching things? And they're like, well, that kind of depends. Is it going to be a free service call or is it going to charge me? You're like, tell the truth. Tell the truth because I want to sleep tonight. I'm going to go nuts if you don't tell me. And that's why I always wanted the stickers. I'm surprised they don't lock them up somehow. They kind of got safeties. I know it costs too much money. That's why they don't do it. Come on, Dave, get real. That's pretty cool, though. Vegetable oil. Genies used to have they were big on their screw drives, like you're supposed to use their certain lubricant. I was a naughty boy for quite a few years. I didn't know that. And so I would just go in there and take the old service spring lube and spray down that puppy. I don't think I destroyed any, but I probably didn't help any. I didn't use the right, but I seen guys that would grease them. I put actually like gear grease in it, like car grease. Oh man, in the wintertime, you watch that thing. Oh, you just hear it just moaning and groaning, you know. I don't know what's the problem with it. Uh, So Eric Scott, he says I've only installed box store openers, and the Genie, never done a any of those fancy lift masters for me. I just did openers as side hustle hobby, and recently working with local dealer. Nice, nice. That's awesome, man. Good job. We need more people like you. Um, hmm. Yeah. I had somebody comment, like I said, it was the one they said, I never have service calls or callbacks because I don't use Genie. And I thought, okay, that's kind of a one-minded thought there. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm not saying Genie's the savior either. You know, they all got problems, but I thought for you to kind of come out and be like, you've never had any callbacks. Come on. I can't believe that. Well, maybe if you did it for a day and then closed your business, closed shop or your side hustle. And sometimes that's what you gotta look into. Like some of those new guys, you're getting into this stuff. You gotta kind of remember, like you gotta think about this a little bit. Like you get into this, you start doing something, you really, really, should warranty it for a certain period of time. Now I understand you go get a job or something, but on the weekend or something, you should be an honorable person and try to resolve it for the customer, regardless. Um, it's kind of like today. Like I said, I got into a service call, which is fine. The customer still contacts me directly. They just have for over the years, and normally they're a little bit challenging, and I don't mind that because I know exactly what to do. First step: do they have any late invoices? That's the first key, and they were good. They were good. They were good doobies. They didn't have any behind invoices, so I said, okay. I said, let's whip her up and job her. I said, dispatch me out, and I will go out and handle it. And of course, you know what I was thinking the whole time I was going up there? I got the old little pickup truck, right? I don't got no topper thing for it. And all I kept thinking is, please don't let it rain. I thought this is why you drive a van. Because everything, of course, because I got concrete in the back. And I'm thinking, the concrete's gonna get wet. It's gonna get wet. And it's gonna, and like we're pretty much done with the storms today, but we got a couple little, of course, one I come into didn't hammer me luckily, but it started sprinkling. And I'm like, I even checked the weather. I checked the radar. Everything was supposed to be good. I didn't want to take it out of the vehicle. But that's why, remember, kids, don't do drugs and drive a minivan and live down by the river. I'm joking. Okay, what do we got here? Justin says it was 4 years old. 4 years old? Wow. Meant to write, it moved on me. Meant to write. He says, oh, I was because the board was covered with liquid. He earned himself a new head. Wow. Wow. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. I don't think I've ever come across one with vegetable oil. Hmm. That's interesting. People do some weird things. I came across a lot with bird nest on them. Bird nest has always been a big one. Normally they got the white shavings inside. Had that, which happens to everybody, right? The gears are going bad. I wonder if there's any interval that people kind of recommend. Like a lot of times when I was always there working on them, I always scrape the limits because anytime you mess with those old mechanical limits, they seem like they start doing wacky things. So I always take the cover off, blow the white shave, I'd grease it. But I even thought for myself, right? I thought, should you do this once a year? Should you grease the gear, or should you do it like every 3 years? Grease the gear because I think the grease would help prolong it quite a bit because obviously the grease gets old, it slings off, it gets dry, and then eventually it starts eating the plastic gear. Look at that big question mark, Mr. Sky. Let me see what else we got here. I don't know what Tony's doing. Why is Tony's message redirected? What does that mean? What are you doing, Tony? What you doing? I've had a call back. They were never anything serious. Normally, it would be sensor or force needed to be adjusted. Interesting. I think I got another one on the hook right now. I'm doing a little experiment. I'm gonna let you guys in on it later at a later date. But I think this one it's a genie screwdriver from what I can tell. I'm not quite sure if it's the door that has an issue yet or it's going to be the opener related. She said that the last person that was out there said they need to replace the opener, but the opener's moving. So I'm feeling like it's a photo eye or it's a force setting. So I'm gonna find out. We're gonna find out together once I get my hands on it. Um. So that's cool though. That's cool. I wonder if Eric, have you ever had problems though if you're using the genie? I call it the red light of death. Sometimes they get locked into a red and they just that's like the board shot. And it just you just it won't get I call it the red light of death. It'll just light red, it won't turn off. You can push all the buttons. I've called tech support on it. They're like, it's bad. I'm like, whatever. I'm just gonna change this head unit out, whatever, forget it. Luckily, I didn't come across too many when we were doing it. We were doing some for Lowe's. It seemed like we came across more. I don't know if they kind of figured it out. And then the worst part one time was with the genie. I remember it was actually my business partner. He was focused on the door, getting the door out of the jam. So he's sitting there. He's on the ladder. He's doing it. We just got done installing this brand new opener, Genie. I forget what model it was. It's like a gray unit. I can't remember. Anyways, he's coming up right, and all of a sudden, bam, man, he runs into the opener, the head, and it was lights out. I'm like, what's that? He's like, I think I just messed up the circuit board. I'm like, what? No way. So we had to go to the store. We had to get another one changed out. Of course, it put us behind because we're on a schedule trying to bam, 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 right? So that was one thing I always learned. I always thought, watch the trolley first. Then we worry about the door. I don't remember if we had the J arm really extended out because some reason. Oh, look at Tony says that's right. Don't forget the likes. If you guys, I appreciate that, Tony. Like I said, if you're here, throw a like. It doesn't cost anything. I can't track you. I don't know who did it. But if you don't mind clicking the like button, like button, it looks like this. It should be on your screen somewhere. Because we got 3. We got 11 guys here. Or women. Could be women, men, could be dogs, could be cats. I don't know. Could be AI. But thanks for being here. I don't warranty sensor for force need to be adjusted. Okay. Did I miss anybody? Yeah, that's right. Tony said, and the warranty runs out. I hit the road at the end of the driveway. Big box door opener. That's right. I think I jumped over some guys here. I'm sorry. No little black line going down the outside of the door means the neighbors have been going or got through with a can. I love that. I love that, Sky. That's so true. I mean, I've seen it too. You see the big black line down the center of a garage door. It's like, yikes, what is going on? It was okay. Let me make sure if I missed you, I'm sorry. Throw it back up there. A warranty my labor for a year and whatever the material offers. That's about right. I think that's about right, Tanner. I think that's a very fair. That's kind of what we do. We do the labor. Then obviously, if it needs material, we charge them. Maybe a little bit up on top of their cost or something. We just can't keep some of this stuff. If it's eating circuit boards and stuff, we just can't eat it. Especially when you get like to commercial. I think we've talked about this before. Question says when I plug in a LiftMaster, there is LED next to the learn button. I had one blinking red. Do you know what that light indicates? Wow, red. Come on, guys, help Sky out. I don't know what that is. I never seen one do red ever. I think it's the self-destruction button. Oh, that's funny. That's funny, man. Oh, that's funny. Sorry. Talk to text too much noise in here. I removed them. Oh, gotcha. Okay. I'm glad because I just thought, man, Tony, I thought somebody bumping you, or is that you doing it, or what's going on, man? I'm always still trying to learn the algos, how stuff works. Tristan, what's up? If you found out your new guy was a vegan, would you fire him? Yeah. No. I guess I wouldn't be taking him out to lunch much. That's for sure. What's up, Mr. Chad? Hello. Thanks for being here. If you got anything, throw it on in here. It's kind of weird, I I bought a lot of guys, lunch and stuff like that. And it's tough. Do you guys ever have any secret sauce for hiring people? I've kind of found out if they're outdoors is good, right? Because we're outdoors. And um, sometimes hunting. Um, biggest thing a lot of times nowadays is just get them to show up. That's the big thing, especially on time. We just had some service done on a van, and we needed it done by 2 o'clock p.m. And so finally had a call, and the lady's like, "I'm just texting," and she didn't hit the send button. And I was like, "You do it 5 minutes before 2 o'clock, then you're on time, not at 2:01." Because kind of waited, gave him the benefit of the doubt. Was like, "Is this van going to be done or is it not?" It's just kind of for scheduling reasons. But they did it. They did a good job. Like I said, find yourself. It's very helpful as you grow. And that's kind of like one of those things like you should kind of think about a little bit. It doesn't mean everything, right? But it's just like sometimes like I look at this and I go, "Oh my gosh, I never thought about like when I was starting out and stuff." I go, "Do I have a good mechanic? What kind of dealership is close by?" Right? You're a Chevy guy, but you got a Ford dealership that's right down the road. We might want to start driving Fords. You know, I just talked to a guy, an 81-year-old guy today, and he was telling me, he goes, "I never lived in a house that I didn't build," and he's building maybe two more. He says he's 81 years old. He stopped by, he was talking to me, and anyways, I told him, I said, these vehicles are just crazy. He's driving a really nice brand new Chevy. And I think it was one of his kids came in, newer truck, probably about 4 or 5 years old. Anyways, he pulls in, right? Kind of plops her in the field here, whatever it was. And he pops the hood. And I said, "Oh," I said, "See," I said, "those Chevys." I said, "You're always working on those Chevys," and we're just kind of joking. And he goes, I said, "I don't know what's good anymore." And he goes, "Well," he goes, "if you're going to buy new," he says, "just get something." They all got warranties. So whoever's going to give you the best price. And I kind of was like, I kind of like that. You know what I mean? Especially if you're going to buy new, if you're going to switch it out in whatever, 3 years or something. Yeah. Maybe just look at it that way. Who's going to give you the best deal? Who's going to save you a couple $1,000? And, cause they seem like a lot of them are kind of crummy, but I'm not going to lie. The kid came out, right. That popped his hood. He didn't open it. He just popped it. I don't know if it was overheating or what was going on. And he said he was kind of part of the conversation. And he goes, "I don't know." He goes, "I hear Toyotas are pretty good." No, well, I said, I said, "That's what the wife's got." I said, "But it's traded us good." I said, "It's not the end all be all. I mean, it's just even Toyota's got problems." Um, what did I miss? What did I miss? Found a new guy. Hello. So Tanner, well, that's one of my hiring questions. So I do have never hired them in the first place. That's awesome. That's awesome. Uh what's up, Chad? Chad, I don't remember. I like I said, I'm sorry if but it's been a while. How's it going? It's going good, man. Everything's going good. Everybody's healthy. Everybody's here. Everybody's kicking. Everybody's asking questions, which I really appreciate. Throwing their 2 cents in, which is awesome. Life is good. It's warming up. Spring is here. Hopefully, hopefully November's not gray. You know what I mean? When November comes around, the seasonalities, to see who is going to be the new king, to see who's going to be, how they're going to make this. They're going to rattle, shake the globe, the snow globe. Uh, let's just enjoy today, right? Let's just enjoy the summer. Hopefully, it's a good summer. One of my friends has a farm. They got massive cattle barn with 2 LiftMaster DC belt drives from the 2000s on 12-foot doors. So those are kind of hefty. They were filled with nest. Oh my gosh, those are still ran like new. Wow. My a buddy of mine, I tell you what, man, they were using they're not the belt drives, but they're the ATS. I couldn't believe, and of course, you know how it is like the ATS isn't supported right. So it's up there the whole time. I mean, I can't believe, and they use it like a car dealership. So these doors are open and close, open and close, open and close. They bought a building across street, and I told them I was like, we're going with I think we went with an MT, and they were like, well, "What's wrong? Aren't these?" And I'm like, "I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it." Even though those ATSs were still running, I'm like, "I'm not doing it." Like, you're going with a belt drive AC motor. It's like, we're not doing that because I know how you guys use things, and you're going to call me at 5 o'clock on a Friday, and I'm going to be very not happy. uh, it says, I think the red light is a battery backup indicator, battery bad or not charging, I think. Seems about right. That seems about right. I would agree with Tanner on that. Uh Says thanks, Tanner. Tony must be doing his voice text thing. Jolly lolly. It is usually green, and sometimes it switches into blue, and then the remotes won't program. What? I have asked around when I get a chance. Wow. That's some goofiness right there, man. That is weird. Hmm. I know it's weird because I had one of my brother-in-laws. I think I kind of did like the last year's the ATS, the standard ATS, and I never had a problem like this. But I remember his remotes just quit working, and it wasn't. He put batteries in them. I think he had one. The battery was still good in it, but it just stopped. I couldn't believe it. I was like, "What is going on? How does it just lose?" I've never had that before. Some of this newer stuff, though, oof, oof, man. Like I said, the one that always threw me, I don't think anybody's ever commented before. Has anybody experienced the photo eyes? Like I said, this was quite a few years ago, but the photo eyes would just like cut out. Like I used to think it was energy saving. So a customer called me like, my garage door won't go down. And I'm like, what? I'm like, all right, I'll be out there in a couple hours, whatever. I go out there, right? And I come in there like a detective. I go through the man door. I don't cross nothing, right? And I'm like, okay, what's the problem here? And I'm like, is it the light bulb? I hate light bulbs. Nope, it's not the light bulb. And I look down, I'm like, why aren't the photo eyes lit? Like, what? I'm like, well, it must be like energy saving. These must be energy saving ones or something, right? And it was like, as soon as you like click the button once, it would like they would turn on, and then you click the button again, and it would work. And I'm like, okay, like I don't know why. I don't know why it's doing that. And but the problem would be is because when they hit the remote, it was like the remote wouldn't activate it, but the wall button would or something. I can't remember, but or it's like they hit it once and they're like, this darn thing's not working. I don't know if they would not hit it a second time, which seems kind of weird because people always sit there and keep clicking, clicking, clicking. But they would just call me and say the door won't go down. And I always remember the photo eyes would just cut out. They were just out. I'm like, it was weird. And it was like weird because one of them I ended up changing a circuit board in. Then I had like, I don't know, like seven on or something that like they did it once and they never called me back again. And I was like, like I don't know if they just never called me because they're like, I don't want that idiot coming back out. He don't know what he's doing. Or if it just locked in and never had a problem ever since. It was weird. It was out in residential. I think it was the 8355s and stuff like that, similar model. Um okay. So Tristan says, do you recommend buying truck or van? Off Facebook Marketplace. I don't think it's too bad. Um some of the guys beat me up a little bit on the vans. Um Take it with a grain of salt. I believe some of the newer Chevys right now, I'm learning, and I don't know what era. I don't know if it was like '08, '09, '10. Some of those might be having problems with transmission. It's starting to kind of reveal itself because these trucks are finally hitting 100,000 miles, 150. The only reason I bring it up is because we got what do we got? 2017s. And I think we got I think it's a 6L80 or 6L90. There's a torque converter problem. It sounds like sometimes there's like a fluid change you can do that might resolve it. Sometimes it just eats up the transmission. I'm very green at this. Don't hold me to this. I don't know. I'm not an expert on this right now. I'm doing my investigations, but I know the old ones. We had one that had over 300,000 miles on it. The darn thing just kept running. The body was shot. And I remember I bought it off an auction. I didn't know it had that many miles until the last click, and the secretary's like, "We want it." And then I'm like looking at it. I'm like, "Oh, cool." I'm like, "Oh, I'm like 327,000." I'm like, "What the, what did I buy?" I mean, we only paid like $1,500, $2,000 or something. Anyways, hanging out with my brother-in-law, cruising somewhere. I said, "Yeah, man." I said, bought a van offline. It's this guy, and he just looks at me and just blink. He says, "Yeah." He goes, "They'll go 400, 500,000." He goes, I'm like, "Okay." And so we did. We drove it. It was a beater. I mean, it was so rusty. So my big thing what I do is if I can stay away from the rust, that's my big thing. Depending on where you're at, mileage on some of those Chevy vans, it's kind of like I was watching. I don't know if any of you guys ever watched the TFL truck. I think it is. The younger kid, I don't know if he personally drives it, but he brags a lot about the 1995 Chevy Suburban. There was certain years that are really just solid built, man. I tell you what, you just can't beat them. So you got to kind of figure out, like if I had to guess, my like a 2005, 2007 were good years. Anything after that, I'm a little bit fuzzy on. Um, so long as they ain't got a lot of rust, and if you can find somebody that has some documentations, is always good. But you just gotta. The big thing you always got to remember, what I've learned over the years, is as men and women, right? We get excited, right? Or we get burned out. We don't want to go look at another vehicle. Just go in there with the intention of just, I'm not going to buy this. If there's something that just doesn't feel right, the person's bouncing around, they're acting like they're really trying to get rid of it. They won't negotiate, or things just don't add up. Just always remember, you can stand back. You can walk away. Just say, what? Let me think about it. Let me think about it. At least you went out and looked at it. It's just like with the phone calls and everything, right? If you don't know what you're doing, you're nervous, your sales and stuff like that, you can always say, "Hey, let me call you back. I don't know right at the top of my head. Let me find out and let me get back to you in a few minutes." You know what I mean? Same thing with the vehicles. Just now, personally, if you're rolling in the dough, um, see, everything is kind of like time and money. So there was a point, right? We were so busy and we had so many guys that it's like, if a vehicle goes down and you're paying a guy or lady X amount of dollars, it's costing so much money. Now you're not getting to the customer. So we ran into a plateau where our service, like I said, within 2 months of the first of the year, we were over like $10,000 worth of maintenance. And it's like, whoa, whoa. Like, I think we can afford a van payment. So we had to go to a brand new van. And because then when you put your stickers, because see, the thing is, like, I didn't know, like, so when I bought my first van for the business, I paid like 800 bucks for it. The Cadillac converter was plugged. I got that unplugged. That was that was a free fix. But then we did body work on it. And I think we probably put in, it was either between like 2 and 4 grand. Too much, way too much. Then it was tied up. Now it's a van full of Bondo. It's got some, stuff. It got repainted. But it's a used van. So it's like the body work, and then with rust, it's a cancer, man. It's horrible. I mean, the brake lines, gas lines, fuel tank, it just, the list goes on and on. Then we had to buy tires for it. I cheaped out, bought some used tires but meaty, man, had a lot of rubber on them. The tire blew. It blew the tread off, and it went wacky, 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 wacky against the fender. Beat the fender, all the crap. My business partner was going down the highway. I mean, tore it up. I mean, when I got to, I'm like, "Dude," I'm like, "You need to stop next time." He's like, "I was on the highway. I just got an off ramp." He's like, "It blew," and I'm like, "We just had the tires on there for like maybe like 2 months." You know what I mean? And so it was like, because I saved, $200, $600 on tires, right? Because I bought these used ones. I did all the research. You just got to use common sense, take your time, but marketplace, like I said, it's no different than Craigslist or driving down the road. it's nice when you can find a one owner. It's nice when you can find an older or there's a second owner if you can do any kind of research on it. Or you can just tell, the seat's not all tore up. It doesn't look like it's been replaced recently, like they just tore it out. Um, Things are adding up. But like I said, even when I bought a brand new van, it started having problems. I bought a brand new van. I mean, it only had 300 miles. I got electrical issue with it. Then I got rear-ended with it. I mean, I was just like, what is this? Like brand new shoe day? Like when you're at school, and you're standing in line, right? You've had shoes on for your whole life, right? Nobody steps on your feet. The first day you get brand new shoes, right? Those brand new sneakers. Somebody backs up in the lunch line, steps right on, leaves a big dirty imprint. You're like, what? Why? Well, this new van was turning into this, I just got rear-ended because I'm taking it into the dealership to get fixed. Oh, you guys are trying to make me shake. Uh, do you have company birthday parties where you celebrate a date of the birth of your company? No, I never had anybody ask that. I'm not saying that's bad. We used to do more or less. We kind of did more like Christmas parties. Um, and people liked them to some degree, but some people kind of don't really care, right? It's always a hard balance when you got everybody's different. Some people want to have the party, and I mean, shoot, the last one we had, which was years ago. I don't know how many years ago, a lot of years ago. I mean, this was back before. I mean, this was like 10. I mean, it was a long time ago. 10 years could have been. It could have been even longer, probably longer. I mean, it was. I was just talking to the wife the other day, and she was like, I mean, I think there was 5 or 6 of us. She's like, yeah, that was a $600 and some dollar bill. And I'm like, back then, I'm like, that's not even when inflation was high. And she's like, yeah. She's like, we had some drinks. And so a lot of times what's nicer is really if you can just do a bonus. Because then they can do whatever they want. Because you don't know what people's situations are. Sometimes they're hurting. Sometimes they got a family member that's not doing so well. Maybe they're a little bit short on Christmas presents, or they did the kids and they can't. Maybe they didn't get the wife yet, or the husband. So if you can do some money, that's always really nice. And it just keeps everything, because let's face it. Obviously, you do the parties. Typically, there's going to be a little bit of possibly drinking and stuff like that. And last thing you want is, one of your, workers or somebody getting hurt, killed. And the thing is for us, we have a lot of people that are long ways away. You know what I mean? Especially like secretaries and stuff like that. That's, a 2-hour drive one way is not the most entertaining. You know what I mean? And to think that even maybe they got a driver or somebody, it just gets kind of weird, So, but no, that's a great question. Never heard that. The birth, I never thought of that. I'm a little bit goofy when it comes to that stuff. Um, I'm a type of guy. Uh, every day when I get out of bed, it's my birthday. Every day I get to wake up, it's a blessing. I'm excited to be here. I'm happy to be here. How can I serve? How can I help? How can I do better? That's how I look at it every day, because there's going to be one day for all of us that next day won't come. So, what's to say? What's to say? What's Mr. Sky says? I'm going to call the garage door man. He is always on the phone with LiftMaster support. What? I'm going to call the garage door man. Oh man. Well, if you hear him, can you whisper to him, say, "Hey, Dave's still waiting for a call." And so is Mr. K is still waiting for a call from LiftMaster. They still haven't reached out to me. I thought a couple times I seen a funny number come in, and I was hoping, I was praying. I was like, yes, this is going to be the voicemail from them. Nothing. Nothing. And that's just what I feel they think about you and about me. Nothing. They've just gotten too big for their britches. I think it's kind of like our kings and our queens. They think not really that much about us. I think it's about those people that wear all those suits and ties that are in the the politicians on TV that are in the old agris. Maybe that's why it's con man. I heard this one time with contractor, right? Contractor, con man, something like that. Con man, contractor. And I thought, oh, that's kind of. I know some con mans that are contractors. Oh, let's see. So I think it might be a bad board. Sky, I think it might be. Oh, okay, okay. Thinks it's a bad board. Could be. The sensors were hard to get to work on the red light circuit board. Ooh, that's weird, man. Man, Sky, you're gonna have to let me know what you find out on that too. I'm really curious um, how that works out. Be very interesting. Tanner, van, diesel van. Look at. Oh man, if you can swallow the price, it's funny. I don't know if the new diesels are having problems because that guy tonight I met, one of his kids, he told me what it was. It was a 2019. It was a Duramax Chevy, diesel, and he said it's puking out oil and they're gonna have to replace the motor. I don't know how many miles are on it or anything like that. And I went, oh, I said, wow. I was like, you know, he's like, yeah, he goes, it's not very old, but they're gonna replace the motor. And I'm like, dang. I'm like, that sucks, man. All right. It says we will see if I get a call back on that one. I'm kind of expecting it. Oh yeah, I bet. Sky, when you said that, I was sitting there thinking, "Are you going to get a call back from Liftmaster?" Oh yeah, probably not. But yeah, call back for a service call. Yeah, yeah. That's man. I tell you what, that's tough, man. That is super tough. I can't stand that kind of stuff. I really can't. Like it drives me nuts. You've been doing something right. You're on your third, your fourth, 6, 20, 150, whatever it is, and then all of a sudden you get this and you're like, "What is that? I've never seen that light before. What does that mean? What's the code for that? Does that say anything to man? Does it say nothing to man? How does it even make that color? Like, how does it make it the red? And it's always been yellow. And it's like, and like you said, now you're sitting there and you're just waiting, just waiting, and just waiting. And then it'll be 5 o'clock on a Friday. Has anybody ever noticed that trend? Does it seem like you guys ever? And it's always really fun. It's real fun when you get somebody that'll I get a lot of guys from like Chicago. They'll come up here up in Michigan. They got their cabins and stuff. And that's always fun. They've been up here for like 2 weeks and they call on a Friday, like, I really need to get this done. Can we get somebody out here today? And you're like, okay, yeah, I guess I'm going to miss camping with my kids, but yeah, we'll get somebody out here for you. So then you got to reschedule everything. And you go there, right? And you show up and they're like, oh man, thanks for making it out here. Great, great. Yeah, I knew about this. It's been like this for about 6 days now, but I really wanted to get this fixed because we want to get the wave runners out. And you're like, like you knew about this 6 days ago, and you couldn't call like 6 days ago, and we could at least put you in the schedule instead of a Friday. Now it's 6 o'clock at night. I guess you just got to say no. Tell them to call your competition. We'll see. Eric says those lift masters that were installed in the barn. Okay, so the 3850s. It's crazy that those units are practically in the elements and rated for residential use. I know, isn't that crazy? I was just mentioning that on the video. I'll edit it at some point on the gate operators that these circuit boards that they're in the dirt, they're in the water, they're in the moisture, they're still working to this day. I think I installed it back in 2012. They're linear gate operators. And I just go, I would agree. Like I don't think the circuit boards on the lift masters would hold up to what this is going through. And you're probably right with the circuit boards not making it because um I don't know, man. It's hard. It's hard. It's like I just wish they would give us options. Like I'm still the ATS guy, the old mechanical limits. I like at least one model through the LiftMaster that's a mechanical limits. I just like something that if I had to do it for the Amish, I got to do it for somebody out in the back country. I have that option. And I understand, if they want to charge me more, if it's another 20, 40, $60, I get it. I get it. They can make the other ones cheaper. They got more profit margins, whatever. But it's like, you can't just keep me in line still, or, pull out the stamping and, make a couple million of them or whatever it is and throw them on the shelf. No, we do lean manufacturing. We don't do, that's what irritates me about a lot of this stuff. Cause I'm so like over the days of like, have any of you guys ever experienced this? Do you get salespeople, right? The salespeople come in, right? And they're just trying to make a commission off you. You know what I mean? Like, are you ready to buy an opener? We have like 0 callbacks on ours. And you're like sitting there, like you're thinking about it. You're like, oh man, really? Because I've already had like with this other company, I've already had like, you know, out of whatever the 40 some boxes or whatever, I've already had 12. You know what I mean? And you're like, I'm ready for something that doesn't have these problems because these callbacks are causing me an issue. And the last callback that Johnny went to, he left his stinking battery charger there with a battery on it. That cost me $400. He left a big battery too, or he left his Sawzall there. Sorry. Liftmaster. He says Liftmaster was better back then. I agree. I don't think I haven't really looked this up. As far as I know, Power Master with a P, right? Power Master. They only make commercial openers. I don't think they make residential. I mean, what is it? Basically, can you still get linear openers? I got out of them because we lost our sales guy quite a few years ago, and I never even tried to reapproach them. I know Lanier quit with the commercial line because I remember that because I installed one for a guinea pig right around the corner from the shop, right? It was my guinea pig. I was like, I'll give you guys a shot. Now I kind of like your setup a little bit. And they had problems. They had circuit board problems. I think they were built in like China, I think. And then I thought I heard rumor that you couldn't get linear residential anymore. I thought I heard that. I could be wrong. And they're just going to stick with the gates. Liftmaster was better. I see him jumped in there for something. Let's see. It's not to mention, I love the growl sound that the old DC Liftmaster makes. One of the new ones sounds like a cheap from Amazon. Oh, that's funny. You're a good man. You should get an old school bus for hauling around door panels and ops. Oh man. That's great. That is awesome. Okay, so Eric says, where are you at in Michigan? So the shop is over in Muskegon. It's Muskegon, Michigan, right next to Lake Michigan. We're kind of like, what is it, like the Hand or something? I think we're like here, we're kind of in the middle of Michigan. They consider us a troll if you're up in the UP or a Uper. They got the nice name. We're trolls down here because we're below the bridge. So we're on a peninsula. Our area is kind of a booger, right? Because we're on a peninsula for everything. Like, who wants to travel up here with all this product? Everything was better. Tony says everything was better back then. I agree. It's sad, the world that we're kind of heading to, man. I feel sorry. Really, I feel sorry for our kids. I feel sorry for you, for me. Some of this stuff. I mean, it's like I said. The one that really gets me the most is, what just irritates the snot out of me is how you can have a product, right? You guys know as well as I do. There's products that we use and we go, wow, man, this is impressive. This works. I mean, every time I plug it in, I mean, I've installed hundreds, maybe had one that had a weird glitch. I can handle that. That happens. You know what I mean? But then it's like, we just keep going down and down and down and down. And it's like, okay, like this is not reliable. Okay, this is not working. What gives? You know what I'm saying? Like it's really tough. It's really tough. It just, especially like when I look at it and I go, the biggest ones out there are car manufacturers. And I go, like Ford had issues a while back, remember when they're spitting out spark plugs? What? Like how many years and hundreds of years, how have we been building, a combustion engine and we're spitting out spark plugs? What? Cam phaser problems. We got transmission problems. We got a 2000, like, I'm like, I want to hear like, oh, they're putting a new motor in. You know why? I go, why? Because he smashed it into a tree. Oh, that makes sense. No, it's like it's puking out. Why is it puking out oil? I mean, it's just some of the stuff is just really, really goofy. It's kind of like when I went back in the day when I used to go to the demolition derbies and you see those old square bodies. Those things were just like invincible to kill. You know what I mean? You see old square bodies, maybe some of the old, I don't know if the Fords they were all rotted out by then, but the square body Chevys with like a 305, 350, man, they just be sitting there just still chugging along, smashing into each other. And you're like, I'm going to buy myself one of those. When the end of the world comes, I want one of those. What's Eric guy? He says, I think of trying to find a dealer, linear dealer. I like those LDO 50s with mechanical limits. Electric ones are a pain. Even with Genie, I got occasional issues. Yeah, it's the problem I ran into with when we were dealing with Lanier, what kind of irked me is they changed their outside keypad. Something changed on it. I didn't like it. It was like it turned to a blue or something, and it just kind of turned me off. And I was like, okay, is this compatible now with like the newer stuff or the older stuff? Um, and the big thing with Lanier was always everything like the remotes, they felt so cheap. I mean, at least like with the LiveMaster, it's kind of got a nice click to it. It feels like it could take a drop. The Lanier ones, I'm like, where did you get this? Did you get this from like my kid's Barbie doll collection? Like, what is this? And then I always felt really bad when I had to like hand it to the customer. I'm like, here's your remotes. That was the only problem I really had with Lanier. They worked pretty good. Like I said, we lost our sales guy that used to deal with it. And we just kind of fell off from there. It just, you know what I mean? It was just the support wasn't there, with him not being the one that we could call. He was an American, he speak English and everything. It was just easy to call him. He'd handle it. I mean, if you had an issue, he'd bring you a couple the next couple weeks when he was out this way or something and be like, hey, you're all set, man. These wasn't just must have been a bad fluke or something. Customer service was just really good. It was very helpful. Tanner says yes, but Lanier is a junk opener. I mean, it is hard. The price point on them was pretty good. See, the thing is, they kind of sold you on too. Was what was it? So the one thing I did like about Lanier, it seemed like it was the trolleys, right? The trolleys were interchangeable. So basically, you had one head, which I did like, and then you could put you could put this trolley on it, which is chain driven, which is a little bit cheaper. Which sometimes when you get to this whole chain belt, the price difference really isn't that like big a deal. You know what I mean? It's like to me, it's like when you're kind of talking about $20, I'm like, meh, I just rather just give everybody belt drives. But occasionally you do get that one person, I want a chain drive. I don't want none of that belt stretching, belt slip. Okay, whatever. We'll give you a chain. So it is nice to have that combination. But that was really nice because obviously, like with LiftMaster, you want a belt drive, we got to have the belt rails. If you got to have a chain drive head to go with the chain drive. So it was nice. The Lanier, you could just have just their heads, pretty much, right? All their heads, and then you just take a rail, and it was going to pop onto a shaft, and that worked out pretty nice. And it seemed like you didn't have to really, maybe a little bit of an adjustment, or it was already I think it was already pre-tensioned, so they went together really fast. But man, their photo eyes felt really cheap. The wiring was really cheap. They give you to run it. The remotes. And then there was like the last one when we were getting to the bottom of the skid. It's like they changed something. Like I said, I went to one to help a technician out in the field. And I was looking at, I was like, what is this? He's like, that's the keypad. I'm like, where did you get this? And he's like, it was in the, and I'm like, this thing looks like junk. Like I was like, it looks even worse. And I was like, and I was trying to program it, and it was acting funny, and I was just kind of like, I don't know about this. I'm not a big, when I find something that works, I like sticking with it. You know what I mean? And I don't like change because now I'm sitting there going, what did you change that's going to cause me headache? You know what I mean? With the product. Junk opener. Eric says, if there was an opener I wish could make a return, that would be the old All-Star MVP. Those were tanks, man. They are just with an Alistair electronic board and safety sensors. That's very true, Eric. I'd have to agree with you. I would have to agree with you on that. That is true. There's some weird caveat to that though too, because I think I got a. I don't think I have it here, but I got a book, and I thought Lanier actually made the All Star. I don't know that for sure, but I feel like I remember something like I went like in my head went, wow, Lanier used to build like really good quality stuff. I don't know that for sure. So don't hold that to me. If you guys know, let me know. But it seemed like I remember a book and it was like, oh, this is actually all their products. And this is Lanier was really weird with their books. I don't know if I got any of their books right here. Let me look. I was saving some of this stuff. Nope. I don't think I have it. This is Dave's price book. We got Horman. What else is in here? Gates. Oh, this would be a good one to ask if anybody uses this company. I don't know if I got their book though. Oh yeah, look at this bad boy. Here's an All-Star. The Lift Master. Nope, I don't think I have that Lanier one. Bummer. But anyways, it was like everything exclusive because we were Lanier. We could deal direct with Lanier. So I just remember seeing in their book, which was always their product, and I thought, oh, it's in there. Like they weren't selling somebody else's. Like, no, we produce this. Okay. So I see here, Lanier bought All Star. Okay, made the legend. Okay, that makes sense. Cool. Eric, I appreciate you clarifying that because that for bringing that to my attention because that's what I kind of thought, and it's man, it's sad. Those were and especially since they got to the tip of with the safeties, man, it was just such a bummer. Such a bummer. Oh man, the scrap got taken out too. I think at the shop. Now I think of it. I think there was two of them. I should have grabbed them. Uh, is it the Kamish? Well, hello. We try to send out Google reviews at the end of the day. What time do you think it's too late to send them out? Well, that's a good question. I don't really have too much insight on that. What I typically we try to do. I don't know if there's any particular time that works good or not, but we try to get it. It's going to be right away, pretty much when the job is completed. They're going to ask for one. I don't know if Google looks at anything differently, like if they're all batched together or if it's, and especially like if you're asking your customers, I guess you could. Um, I've tried everything. If anybody's got a good recommendation, throw it in there. I've done like tablets and asked them to do it kind of basically right there. Because if you leave, they typically don't do it. I can tell you a little gimmick. Offer them something. If you're going to come back or something, tell them, say, hey, we're going to give you a 10% discount, or we're going to give you a gift card, or, if you give us a, review and, just let us know how our service is. That's one way you can kind of spice it up a little bit, and maybe they'll do it, maybe not. They don't care. But it is a very important, it does helps a lot seeing activity. Google likes activity. You know what I mean? They like activity. They like pictures. I'm not as good as I used to. I used to put a lot of pictures. I think the secretaries do some on Facebook and whatnot, but I haven't checked. I know one of you guys, I don't remember which one, sent me that stuff about the Google, how to improve on Google. That's always a big thing. It's kind of weird. Like I can see we're ramping up again. It's spring, so it's going to happen. and then it'll plateau out at some point, just depending on how the year goes. Um, but like I said, for our industry, right, our business, it's always been kind of a little bit under manpowered in a sense. So it's, you know, and like I said, it's one of those things that takes a very, 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 very long time. Like I still remember the whole, like they say, normally after 5 years in business, it gets you're kind of a success or you're better. And it took me probably 6 to 8 just to just to start kind of going, okay, okay, whoo, I can take a breath. You know what I mean? Okay, got to get back in the fight. And it was just run, run, run. And like I said, probably since the last 3 or 4 years, it's more or less been like, whoa, can kind of chill a little bit. It's a lot easier. And you got to remember, I've been doing it for 18 years. 18 years. That's why I'm always telling you guys, I'm like, hey, if you're a young buck, you got it made. But I tell you what, it's a different animal. It, especially, I should put it like two different ways. If you're working it, it's not so bad, right? You do your job, you go home. But when you got to run sales, be the maintenance guy, you know, you got to be the collecting agent, you got to be, materialist guy. I mean, there's a whole list of things. It can add up to be very, very heavy. And then you try to compound it if you got, especially it gets way harder if you got a family because you got to look down the road, right? And if you're doing stuff right now, you're doing those service, most time you're not going to want to. It's kind of weird, right? Because you get a kind of you get certain years with the kids, and then either they're going to leave or they're going to stay with you or do something with you, and then that's a different animal, right? You can pick back up. Um, but you just got to be looking a little bit farther down the road. Um, my combination just kind of worked in place a little bit. I got lucky. It wasn't even a hard planning for anything. But that's why I'm always kind of like sometimes you got to think about this a little bit, what you're getting, because you got to remember too, everything you're touching right now with any kind of service business, right? Everything you're touching. See, that's why I kind of talk about like the vending machine business because I go, somebody didn't like your candy bar, right? Screw it. I ain't buying from that stupid vending machine again. Fine. Fine. Kiss off. You know what I mean? But when you go out to somebody's home or place or residence or whatever, or business, it's different. You know what I mean? Because it just depends on kind of what kind of person you are. But you need to be an honorable person. Like, you go, well, you know what? Next year I'll screw it. I ain't going to do it. And I've seen, I got competition that I go behind. I get people that I go, yeah, this guy installed this, but he don't do it anymore. And I'm like, real honorable person, isn't he? So now we're here dealing with stuff in the ground or not enough concrete or not doing it right, or just saying, yeah, that's not right. I screwed up. I'm going to eat this, but I'm going to make sure it's right. You know what I mean? And so it just takes it's that's why it's kind of like you got to make a little bit of money, but you're not going to be out. You might not kill it. That's what I'm trying to say, because there's going to be stuff you're going to lose money on. You got to almost do it out of passion of love. You know what I mean? Like you're a service person, and it's tough. It's tough. I don't know if I want to go down that road. There was an opener. I wish. Da, 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 we are send. Da, da, I think on the next tier. I like how. Well, I said I like how they have the little nubs on the chain for limits. They also sound like a machine. Oh yeah, and not a cheap drill from Amazon. That's true. I like to make my own and bring back the design. I thought about that. Eric, you're onto something there, man. We should hook up. There was they actually Osco, the old Osco openers. They had one fatal thing with them on the commercial ones. The dowel pin would fall out of them. But those things ran and ran. They just had a couple, the mechanical limits that would suck in. Um, and I thought about it, but I think it's just I don't know. I've heard things. My vendor told me this, my big LiftMaster vendor. I don't know if this is true, but he told me, I don't know how he was explaining this. He said, he says, the safety eyes, he says, on those commercial openers. I'm like, yeah. He goes, that wasn't an OSHA thing. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, LiftMaster brought that to the market. He said that way it would wash out all those openers and they'd have to install them. And he says, obviously the other brands caught on and had to do it too or whatever. But he's like, they're the ones that push that. I don't know if that's true or not. And I thought, maybe, because I remember when the photo eyes were coming out in the commercial buildings, it was hard to revamp the old ones. Like I didn't even want to do it. It was just like it was a bear. They worked glitchy. Sometimes they'd be sitting on the ground. If you didn't get the secondary limit right, somebody could cross it, would kick the door open. After hours or whatever. So it almost got to the point where it was like, yeah, we need to bring all these because they'd have insurance adjuster or something come through, right? And they would say, your insurance premium is going to be more because you ain't got safety eyes on these doors. So they'd come to us, and be like, what are we going to do? Can you put photo eyes? And I'd be like, man, these things are, by the time we do that, you're going to have, $600, $800. I mean, for $1,200, you get yeah, I get it. All right, well, give me a quote for all new ones, so we give them a price for all new ones. And we normally would happen. We go through. But that's what those old ones didn't have the safety part, but they were built, man. They just kept running and running. They didn't seem like they had all the bells and whistles because we just get into situations, at least I do. They just want to push a button, right? They don't want to push a button, push a remote, and the door goes up and it goes down. But it's like we're getting farther and farther away from that, where it's like, oh, but I can look at it. I can tell if it's up. I can tell if my wife's home. I can tell if my kid has a heartbeat. I can, but my garage, it's not opening that good. It doesn't work that good. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, when you get home and you're trying to get inside, that's what it kind of feels like. So Morgan says, what is your favorite? I'm assuming we're talking about openers. I don't really have a super duper favorite. I don't think there's anyone that's going to save you. I'm always just looking for the cleanest shirt, as the way I describe it, the cleanest shirt in the dirty laundry basket. So whatever works for you, you know what I mean? And that if you do your homework and you're a Genie person, then be a Genie person. If you're a linear person, be a linear person. If you're a LiftMaster or you're a Chevy or a Ford, whatever's not in the shop, whatever's not causing you callbacks, that's about the best you can do. And that's why sometimes if you're just starting out, I'm always like, hey, you know what? The box stores might be your best friends. It might not be your enemies. You might be worrying too much about, and especially once you start doing it, because I always want people to get out there and just it's amazing. Out of multiple businesses I have started over the years, when you start doing it, you get feedback and you kind of go, ooh, like, I don't really like this, or I didn't think about this, or I didn't know I had to buy it from here. Or I had to travel here. Or I got to order it from this person, or my vendor's really stinky. You know what I mean? Like you call, and I've had them, right? Especially like with Clopay, Wayne Dalton, Raynard, Clopay, I always say them, Safeway. It's amazing because then it's like everything shifts just like in life, right? There was probably a time in your life you couldn't wait for that Barbie doll. You couldn't wait for that bicycle, right? You couldn't wait for that bicycle. And nowadays you're like, I don't ride no stinking bike. I want a car. I want a truck. I want a new Ferrari. I want a new house. I want a pool. I want a massaging recliner. Life changes. That's okay. It's going to change as you age. So you just got to, what I figured out, like for me was always on a vendor wise was like, who's going to help my secretaries? Who do my secretaries relate with, and who works best with them, and who can answer their questions? That was the big thing. So you just got to kind of, it depends on all what you're doing. Like I said, if you're chucking a truck, it's a lot easier. You know what I mean? It's not so bad, but there is caveats to it, right? Expansion, growth, days off. There's a whole list of things that goes on with that too. Genie does a thing where you can get chain or belt and use the same head. Yeah, Genie does. You're right. You're right. Which is nice. It's kind of nice having that option. I like options. I tell you what, the older I get, I like more options. And I'm not even talking about like a heated steering wheel. I'm just talking about like options like that. Universal, it's universal. I like universal because you just never know what you're going to run out of. You're going to run out of this, but you can still use the heads on this. Somebody took something, somebody screwed something up. It's just nice to have those options. Okay, so Tony says, I hate the cheaper and cheaper look stuff. Come on, give me long lasting. Man, amen to that. We just don't live in that world. I mean, it's like, I think we hit 5 years. Yeah, it was 5 years, maybe six, 5.5. With with one of our, what was our dryer, right? It was the cheap of the cheap. I understood that, but it just stinks that it's got to be that way. But obviously, we spent better money, like 3 times the amount of money, I think, and now hopefully we don't have that problem. But it just stinks that, it's kind of like even like gasoline. Like if some of you guys know about the wreck fuel, and regular gasoline has alcohol in it that eats up your small engines, the lines and stuff like that. Most people don't know that. Most people aren't educated on that. Most time they don't educate you at the gas pump about that. It's stuff you have to learn. And it's just like, it's sad to think about. Can you imagine what's being in our food, what's in our waters, our drinks, what they're putting in the sky, to the list goes on and on and on. And then it's like I said, it really grinds me, and it makes me mad even that some of you guys got to suffer through some of this stuff, that it's like, you've been dealing with a product just like me, right? And it's been working. It's been humming along. It's been going good. No callbacks. Guys are liking it. It's easy to install. Yeah, this is great. We're making some money. Yeah, yeah. And then all of a sudden, bam, they change something. Oh, we're going to switch this up. Oh, but you're going to like it. You're going to like it. If you don't like it, you're going to still eat it. And we're going to shove it down you. And you're like, and then you start using it. And all of a sudden you're like, okay, yeah, this ain't so bad. I can handle this. And all of a sudden, callback for what? The photo eyes didn't light? What? Oh, okay. We're grooving along, a couple more. Then what? The remote just like quit working? I never had this hat. What? You go out, okay. We're good. Keypad stopped working? What? Oh, heck no. It's blinking red. What does that mean? That's the stuff that's like, I don't like being the guinea pig. I don't like you being the guinea pig. I don't like me being the guinea pig, because that'll be the day that you go out to do that service call, that warranty work, and you're going, God darn, I'm doing because I'm just a good person. No charge for this one today. I could be out doing another job that's making money, right? You go out there, and all of a sudden that's the day, boom, you smash on the side of a vehicle, or somebody smashed into you, or you left the cap off on your angle iron and it goes shooting out, and it messes up the fender on your truck. Had to happen. And now you're not happy, right? You're like, God darn it, this sucks. I'm out already doing a free service call today. I already just messed up my vehicle, or somebody just ran into me. I shouldn't have even been here. That's the worst. Boom, 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 boom. What does it say? Genie. Hey, cheap, long lasting, linear, bought Allstern, and made legendary MVPs. Right. I can get linear where I buy my openers. Oh, but stick to the LiftMaster. Probably better. I wouldn't be afraid to, like, say, if you want linear I'm assuming they're cheaper. That's what the price point was, pretty good on them for us. They were kind of like, how did we do it? We kind of did like, I think we had 2 different models. It might have been linear, Genie, then like LiftMaster was kind of the primo. And then, like I said, we lost our rep, so it was kind of a pain. So we just kind of fell off the whole linear thing. And then we went to Genie pretty exclusively, pretty heavily. And then it's kind of hard for us, actually. We got one vendor still that'll do LiftMaster, but they're like every other week they show up. It's just kind of a pain. I can get stick with it. It was Eric. He says, I got an Austrian in my workshop. Oh, nice. That thing is so smooth and quiet. Oh man, I encountered so many of them in the field and never had a major problem. I replaced a belt. I had a rebuild wall button. Huh. Yeah, I think the only problem I ever seen with some of those was the All Star was, those little lugs. That was always the biggest thing. Like I would keep them from old openers. The lugs would fall off and they'd lose their limits. That was always the biggest thing. but hardly ever any problems. Like I said, I don't even know if I might have replaced the belt on one. They're just built, man, like tanks. 24 years for me. Nice. Gonna rock it in 2024. That's the way to do it, man. That's the right attitude to have. Just go out there and keep crushing it, keep killing it. Just tell you what, that's how I did it. I just every day, man, grindstone, 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 grindstone. You take those service calls, you do what you got to do. You take care of the customer. You, yes, yes, I'll handle it. I'll help you. I'll make sure we make it right. And it adds up. It adds up over time. You'll all of a sudden, like I said, it's kind of like what I always talk about, that vortex. You'll make this vortex, and all of a sudden you're like, holy crap, there's just so much work. I can't even fulfill it all, and it's just blowing everywhere. Eric says we are located about 1 hour away from Genie's headquarters. Oh, nice. We just buy directly from Genie, so so no middleman vendors. That's really nice. That's really nice to have that as an option. We we don't have any builders up here. Like I said, we used to have one from Muskegon about an hour and some change. That was the back in the old days when it was Osco. Osco used to build the commercial openers and the gate operators. We would actually go out there and pick them up direct. And it was great. There was a small little rickety building. They were just in there slamming stuff together. It was really amazing. It felt great for a small town. It really did. And then eventually got Nortec bought them. Well, I think it was Osco, and then it was like Lanier, something changed. Lanier bought, something weird like that. And then it turned into, because Lanier and Osco really worked together. Because it was like we were always using Lanier like keypads with gate operators and stuff like that. And then it was like Lanier picked them up, and then now it's Nortec. I don't know exactly the whole combination. I'm surprised they're still, as far as I know, still building them in Michigan, but Grand Rapids. Because I've heard possibly Mexico, which doesn't surprise me. Cheaper labor. I mean, I don't want it, but anything to save a nickel, right? I mean, that's how it goes, unfortunately. But that's really nice. You got a vendor. Like I said, for us, we've been really blessed. We've had a vendor like I said, about an hour away. Huge LiftMaster vendor. Every kind of commercial. I mean, I'll probably have it. I took some pictures. I was out that way. It was on the weekend. And they just did a big addition on the back of that building. Place is super clean. It's a family owned. I mean, it's a rock star, right? I mean, it's everything you could want. They're the biggest one, far as I know, in the state of Michigan, for LiftMaster, and run a heck of a business, do a heck of a job. I think his dad started out. His dad used to do his installs, and then the kid finally, he's older than me now. He's ain't really a kid, but he just does selling the products now. So it's really cool. Morgan got here. Says we have been getting forced issues with them new LiftMaster openers. Dang. Does LiftMaster still, with even the brand new ones with the limits, is it still you got to set it like an inch when you're doing your down limit? Do you got to set it like an inch, before it hits? Because the one models, it would still, you would set your limit, but if you set it down on the ground, it would like over travel when you go to like run it through its cycle. It was really irritating. Morgan says yes. So I kind of thought. I don't. I guess is that for the board? I never read the instructions. I always just was like, I was always so used to setting certain ones, and you set them and you leave them, and then it was like, this thing is over travel. So finally, it was like we just started communicating across through all his texts. We're just like, hey, you got to leave it like a half an inch up or an inch, and then it's going to go down that extra, half an inch. Just seemed kind of annoying, like a nuisance. Does it doesn't matter what brand? Oh, I see Tony's in here. Had somebody else. So which one of you asked me? Does it matter what brand photo eyes I use for residential? Yeah, I think you got to use what, Genie or LiftMaster. I'll get to that. Definitely the chain drive. Yeah, the belt probably absorbs it. I'm assuming if you kind of miss, the belt can absorb a little bit more than the chain. So Eric, dang Eric, you young buck, only 19. Dude, that's awesome, man. Congrats on being 19, man. What a great. Tell you what, man, you'll do fine. Hang out with Uncle Dave. I'll teach you the right things. You got a good group of guys in here too, and women. Um, and just keep hustling, man. Just show up every day. Just have a positive attitude. My nephew, he's a super good kid. I got a couple actually that are really, and I tell you what, they hustle, man. That's the biggest thing. You gotta show initiative. Just be there, be present. How can I do this? How can I fix this? Learn. 19. Hopefully, I can work out a company that makes a clone of the MP design. Says I have a feeling in service techniques hate screwdrives, but like to see a screwdrive again. I love the screwdrives, but I've only dealt with mostly the screwdrives with the genies, um, and I don't know why. I guess I'm just a little bit weird. I like a screwdriver because I like it destroys things. I like that I can put a screwdriver on like an old wood door, and I'm like, it's got this. You know what I mean? The screwdrivers just for some reason for me um, they just seem like if you want to mid stop them, they just are smoother than a like a chain drive. Because see, the thing is for me is like I've just gone through so many scenarios. Like I get some people that like, even though you're not supposed to, they want to let their cat out. So we only open it a foot or two, and then it's like you install something, it's all because the door doesn't balance out right because it's an older door. I never know what my situation is going to be. Like I never know. Am I putting this door opener on a brand new one, or am I, you know, it's wifey. Yes, wifey. How may I help you? Do you want to say hi? You're at Myers. She's getting food. You're. What's up? No, I don't need nothing from Myers. Okie dokie. Love you too. Bye. Wife Tron. She's such a good girl. Okay, back to this. So, but yeah, see, I think it'd be hard, but nothing's impossible. Nothing's impossible. I don't want to tell you no, but I think what I've realized is hard to do. The problem is to try to go up against the big dogs because supposedly there was Power Master, then it went to Lift Master, right? Somebody split off. I don't know the whole story on it, but Power Master was first, then it went to Lift Master. And I thought, well, that kind of makes sense, right? It's called Power Master. And then somebody said, we'll just call it Lift Master. We got this. But the problem was with Lift Master, right? Everybody knows them, right? They're the John Deere, man. I mean, they're just blown up everywhere. They got the advertising, they got the sales. Um, and so it's not that maybe but the problem is too, is then there becomes like this price point, right? There's a price point. And then what does it cost to build these? And where are you going to build them? You know what I mean? Like, I think Liftmaster's still in Mexico. They're still making stuff in Mexico. It's tough. It's tough to compete. You know what I mean? Like, so then you gotta, I get it. I get it. If I was probably a big corporation, you start getting so big. If I can basically make them in China and have them sent over here, and I'm making double my profit or something, let's just say. And the problem is a lot of this stuff, what I've learned over the years is people get bought out and you don't know that. You know what I mean? Kind of like when I dealt with Osco, right? Osco was kind of a family, this guy that was a Michigander. I think there was two of them. That's why I love their gate operators and that, right? They built it, man, because they lived in Michigan. They knew the harsh winters we went through and all the snow and the ice and the blizzards. And they built a heck of a machine. The cabinets are so nice. Everything's laid out really well. And then they got bought out, and then things kind of went down for a little bit. Then it went up. They've done a pretty good job maintaining it, right? but at any point it could change. All it takes is somebody that goes, well, we could put these cheaper circuit boards in there and make a little bit more money. And ah, so you just don't know. And that's the problem. So it's like, that's why I try not to get married to some of this stuff and say, I will never, ever install anything but a LiftMaster. I won't because they're the best. That's kind of like when you go that whole, like sometimes the Chevys and the Fords. Hey man, I'm okay, whatever. Like if it works for you, great. If you're not having to crank a wrench and you're putting food on the table and it's not taking food out of your kid's mouth, then have at it, but I don't know. And, I don't know what's going to happen. Morgan says, now I recognize and Hirsha, and if your door is overweight, it won't run. Force error. Perfectly balanced lift and big door with a finger. Nope. It must be the correct weight door, regardless of balance. Morgan, I feel like if you could explain. Now I recognize. And if your door is, I feel like you're kind of talking about what are you talking about on that one, Morgan? I'm just curious if you can clarify. Are you talking about like with LiftMaster and stuff with the weight if the door's not? Because if you've been installing doors and openers for some time, you're probably like me, right? We get into situations that it's like, how far do I go with this? And what I mean is like you get a door, right? They want an opener. Like I'm gonna go look at this one, right? I'm doing it for you guys. I'm gonna take some video of it. And I wish I could play it. It won't show up on the phone. But it's a bigger door, it's a wood door. I don't know if it's a beaver spit door is what I call it. It's not a true solid, but it's bucking. I don't know if I got to go there and look at it. But sometimes you get a widowed old lady or a widowed old man or somebody that's had a veteran. You get in a situation and you know, right? You just know when you're there. You're like, man, they're on hard times. They can't afford this. I got to put food on the table for my own family. I want to help them out. I need an opener that's going to power through this. This door is just a big lug. And maybe the springs aren't quite right. Maybe the door has picked up water over the years. You don't know what's happened because this door is, 15, 20 years old. But if it had a little bit more of a spunk in an opener, it would do it. It would do it, right? And you're like, if I had that one opener would have done this. I could turn up the force settings, and the thing is all the kids have moved out. They have no animals, maybe a pet gerbil, you know what I mean? And you're like, man, I really like, but if you don't have those as options, it's a real bummer. Those LiftMaster limits are a pain in the ass. Yeah, man, I tell you, it's something, man. This chain drive keeps rolling down when setting the down limits. That's always kind of irritating. It's always kind of like or oomph or a little more, or maybe not enough. And then you cycle it and you're like, fudge, it's not enough. So then you go back, you recycle it, relearn limits, and then it's like, now it's too all right, this time I got it. You do it like 2 or 3 times. And then you got to hope you don't overheat. I used to have that problem a lot when I was starting out because I used to run the door all the way up and all the way down when they had mechanical limits, right? I didn't realize like, hey, stop at midway, then run it back down. And I'd overheat them and I'd like freak out. Like, oh my gosh, I just blew up their opener. It's smoking. It smells hotter than snot. And I'd be like opening the cover on a hot summer day, blowing on it, trying to cool it off. And I'm like, I remember when it stopped. I knew I had it. I was on the last stroke. Man, and I remember it stopped. And I'm like, I had to go do another service call. And I'm like, I'm already running late. I'm just like, so irritated. And I told the customer, I'm like, it's fine. I'm like, it just stopped working. It's overloaded. I'm like, I had to leave the door like mid open. It was really crummy, and I felt horrible doing it. I'm like, the door, it'll work. Give it like 15, 20 minutes. I was like, it's overheated. If it doesn't, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll just come back and replace it for free. No, 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 no. What's there, guys? This is a screw drive, and a one-piece door is always the best combo. One-piece door. Dang, man. What are we talking, like 1960? One-piece door. I did a one piece. I put an opener on a one-piece door. It felt like the most like wrong thing to ever do, and it worked fine. It was crazy. There was already one there, so that's why I was confident. And I was like, I don't know if this is gonna, but it worked. And yeah, there wasn't a lot of moving parts, and they fit in really tight spots. Because when I come in there try to put a regular door, I'm always like, oh, we got to do 6-inch low headroom. You're gonna have to bring down the header a little bit. Where like this one only need like an inch and a half, 2 inches of headroom for the one-piece doors that at least I'm thinking of around here. Oh, they are the case. Tanner says, yeah, they are the case of openers. That's right. Wayne Dalton used LiftMaster openers back in the day. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, I don't know what happened. Now they're exclusively, you know, Genie. I guess it's probably because obviously it was at the overhead bought and that was, Genie, blah, blah, blah. So that's probably why. It is a bummer though, because we used to be able to get those through Wayne Dalton, our vendor. Um, but as far as I know, I don't even think we can get any anymore. It's not even like a special order. As far as I know, I'm pretty sure we can't. They just everything's Genie. They probably had too many problems, callbacks, people, the warranty issues they got to deal with and stuff like that. M50 is what they were calling them, 3/4 chain. Huh. M50. Oh, I think the hardest part of making your own machine is making a control board. I just want something that lasts last, and the door company will like to install. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, like those Oscos, as far as I know, with the Oscos, they didn't have any. The old Osco, these are commercial ones now. They didn't have any circuit boards in them. They were just relays. They had those contactors. They were pretty simple. Like I said, yeah, I never dealt with any circuit boards in there. So you could do it with some relays and contactors. I mean, it'd be kind of pretty hard. Plus, they got they got the transformer in there, so that thing's always sucking juice. Um, so, has anybody ever came across more energy efficient openers? I'm just curious. Like, does anybody advertise out there like this is energy efficient? Because I'm always surprised that they haven't gone down that path. When I think about like fridges or furnaces or things like that, the energy efficient, I'm just surprised because I always think about that because some of my houses and stuff over the years I've had old school and you can hear the transformer. I'm like, that thing's sucking a bunch of electricity. I unplug that son of a biscuit. It's probably costing me $1 a day. Oh, this is light duty commercial. What do they got? They kind of suck. He says, and the price difference is worse just selling a T50. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured out. Like I said, I'm not a big what is it? You got the MT or got the MJ opener for LiftMaster. I never a big I, I just would rather just jump you up because they got so many more options, like the closer to time, or not closer to time, timer to close. Um, I've ran into too many issues. It seemed like what was it? It was easier. It seemed like for the radios, if you're in a steel building, um, that was a big one. I think that was the big one with the MT and the MJ. Um, The other one had the external or so you could put a coax on it basically and run your stuff outside. It just has a little more features. That's well worth it. I'd almost some jobs I would do with unknown, because you get these buildings that aren't built yet if you're doing big commercial jobs. And it was so nice just to have the option, right? Because you're like, you know what, we're just going to order it. I'm going to take a hit. I'm going to eat, $40-$60 per opener. Screw it, whatever. I'm not going to make as much money. But when that time comes and they're like, oh man, it'd be nice if these things would close. Not a problem. It's already got the feature. Or, man, it's not working. Be like, oh, well, we didn't have that in your price, but for another 60, 80, $120, $200, $300, whatever it is, we can put external radios on there, or the antennas, and you got the option. But if the opener doesn't have the option, fudge, what do you do now? What's Eric? He says, my uncle in Monroe, Michigan had a Wayne Dalton. What is it called? A variant of the old LiftMaster. It was a damn good opener. That's pretty cool. I don't know. I'd be cool if you ever get a picture of that. Send that to me. Be interesting to see that. Huh. When I worked for Raynard, the LiftMaster said Raynard on them. Oh, yeah. Wayne Dalton used to do that too, right? With the openers. Like they'd put a sticker over it and say Wayne Dalton. But it was just a LiftMaster. But I think from my understanding, obviously when Overhead bought Wayne Dalton, Overhead really is Genie, as far as I'm concerned. And that's why it always ticks me off, because they can get the RSX, the Overhead brand, the ribbon band. They can install the direct couple, which you guys have sent me a few of them, which is really nice. That there is some options out there, but not through the big dogs. Like I want to see one through Genie, and I want to see one through LiftMaster, or just one of them on a direct couple commercial jack shaft opener. What does this say? When I worked for Raynard, LiftMaster. Eric says, I live in mid Ohio near Arkan, or the Arkan. I see that right. There's a lot of old houses. Oh, with one-piece doors. Oh, okay. I have encountered one-piece door. It has a Monroe Oldmatic screw drive. I want one for my door really bad. Nice. Man, that's crazy. We don't really have the one pieces around here anymore. I think as a door community around here, myself and our competition, we've wiped out most of them. They've all gotten replaced. Because we used to have a lot where it was older, the older homes, kind of in the heights. There used to be a lot of those. We used to tear a lot of them out. They're a bear to get out, saws them in half, get the springs off sides, all that kind of stuff. Have to build the header down a little bit to make room for it. What's Tanner say? Technically, LiftMaster they actually got in trouble this last summer. They actually stole another opener's idea. Oh, a photo eyes turning off when it hadn't been ran in 5 minutes or something. But when you went to use it again, they would turn back on and work right away. They actually got in a lawsuit, had to shut down production for 3 weeks. Wow, this is really good. This is great information, Tanner. 3 weeks or something, and couldn't order for 4 weeks. Wow. That's crazy, man. It makes me wonder too, because like I said, this was quite a few years ago. I encountered it. I feel like it was when the 8533 or whatever is the 81. I always get the numbers wrong. It's whatever these ones are in this book somewhere. But those were the ones, right, that came out. And it was like, oh, it's been, it came out with the red covers and it come out with the gray covers. And that was like the two that we used. And it was like, oh, wow, these are great. And I remember when they came out, there was like, wow, these got some nice new features. They got the digital. Let me see here. Yeah, the 85. What do we got? The 8550. What else is on here? 8550. Those are 85.57. Let me check this out. Oh yeah, here's that one I don't like. Which one are you? Why aren't you seeing the 8,500? Yep. Anyway, so those ones were coming out, right? And those were the ones, the trolley ones, that I was having problems with. I was like, I'd have the lights, I'd have the photo eyes shut off. And I was like, what is going on, man? Like I show up and the photo eyes are dead. I'm like, what is in the frick? Why is this doing this? And I'd hit the button and they click back on and I'm like, okay. And I'd hit the button again and it would it'd go through its cycle. I'm like, I'd wait a few minutes. I'm like, how long am I supposed to wait here? It's not doing it. And it was weird because I would install some, they would do it, right? They would work, never have a callback. And then it was like, we do something, let's do another batch. And it would we had problems. And I cannot, I'd rather just have consistent problems than because that stuff I'm like, is it me? Am I seeing this? Are you seeing this? And they're just like, I don't know. I just install it. It works. We go to the next one. I'm like, oh, God darn, man. I don't remember having this problem with the other one. So that's pretty cool. I think Sommer advertises high efficiency apps. There you go. Sky says more Macs were quiet, but the plastic plate in front would always crack. I feel like I remember those. What plastic plate though? I'm trying to think. It seemed like I remember one that had a plastic trolley or a plastic gear in it, in a screwdriver type, and that thing was like, oof. That's what held the spring. Okay, okay. I think I know what you're saying here. It says I remember that the LiftMaster thing with the sensors on the 8558. See, that's kind of weird. Or 8550. Yeah, it was just really weird. Like I said, I remember those glitchy things, and I remember, like I said, with the limits, the not setting all the way. So I don't know. It's like I wish. Watch this. See, what's it do if I do this? Oh yeah, I'm just messing around. All right, guys, what do you got? You got anything else? I'm probably gonna wrap it up here. I'll get just a few more minutes before I jump off and see what's going on out there in the world. I gotta clean up my mess, that's for sure. For one, see what's going on. Hopefully we get some nicer weather. We ain't gonna deal with so much rain. I know we got some jobs, some jobs, man. Gonna be doing some of that, do a little bit of that fence work, the stuff that doesn't have all that electronic stuff in it. Electronic stuff is really tough nowadays. I tell you, it's just, I wish I could say it's getting I can't think of anything. Come to think of it, that's really turned electronic, besides software and stuff on computers and your phone and stuff. But there isn't a lot of stuff that's electronic that I think about. I go, man, this has gotten way better. It used to have a lot of glitches or this or that. I guess besides the old Quasar TV my mom used to have, right? Used to have the dial that you had to turn because the screen would start flickering. You have to bang on it, or you'd have to turn the dial so to stop the flickering as it warmed up. It's kind of weird. I know I'm a little bit old. I think it was an old Quasar TV. So it was pretty interesting. Man, you guys had a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Let me check the old phone number last time, make sure. Oh, Tony, man. Tony's got something going here. I know Tony's kind of busy. So say he should share this. He's got some LiftMaster. This is mark your calendars. LiftMaster Invitation Showcase on May 2nd. Where is this? Q2 edition. All right. It's a partner cast, LiftMaster. We are thrilled to invite you to LiftMaster Partner Cast on Thursday, May 2nd at 10 a.m. through 11, where you will unveil updates and LiftMasters. This is gathering, just an event. Okay, register here to confirm your attendance. So that might be something if you guys want. You can always check it out on LiftMaster. What is in store? What is a CRO lanyard, something, quarterly updates, products, spotlights, residential jack shafts. Might be pretty interesting. Why should you miss, or why you shouldn't miss this? First-hand information, get the latest updates directly from our leaders. Ooh, enhanced business tools, learn opportunities, To boost your business. Oh, I want to boost my business. Make it so I don't have so many callbacks. We're excited to showcase our latest offering. Present you with enough. Okay. Also, to not strengthen and effective our journey towards success. Well, there you go. You can go find that probably in the Lift Master. Looks like. Thanks for sending that, Mr. Tony. Let me jump back here. Awesome. I try them, never had bad things. I did have somebody reach out to me and ask about springs off Amazon. And I said, you know what? I said, I'd give them a try. I said, I can't say I've ever heard bad thing about garage door springs that have been faulty or cheaping down enough that you have problems right away. I mean, I'm sure they might not last as the next, last 2 or 3 years, like Service Spring or somebody out there, but I don't remember anybody in my business or talking on this community or anything where somebody said, don't do it. They have problems. I'll have to get back with that one. Let's check this out. Oh, snap, man. Tony hooked me up. He showed me my Winter Lodge. Thanks, Tony. Says, what openers do you have in your garage that you use in daily? Same with your shop. So the shop has some Genie openers. Well, it has one Genie screw drive. I believe it's a screw drive. That's at the shop. And the other one was basically a freebie. Somebody paid for a rolling steel door and paid for an opener. No, the opener, I'm sorry. We found that was a junky. It's an older LiftMaster jack shaft. It's like the one that's got the black box. It's old school. So we got that. And then what I've had at houses is honestly some old stuff. I've had the old Genie screwdrivers, the ones that got the spring in the back and the old real screwdrivers that the trolleys always wear out. I've had some Sears. Had an old rebuilt Craftsman that had glitches to it. The fluorescent light was screwing with it. That's kind of the bad thing sometimes when you're a garage door guy, you know how to fix them. So you keep them going as long as you can. And you kind of, you never really want to work really on your own stuff. That's just my opinion. Cause when you got to buy your own opener, right? So that's why I always try to relate to customers, because it's so easy to go in there, right? And you're like, geez, man, you really need a new opener. Well, how much is that? I don't know. You're probably $600, $800, $1,200, and they're like, and when I'm sitting there and I can buy them, you basically buy them at cost. And I'm like, $400? I ain't spending $400 for a stinking opener. Hell, it only comes with one remote too. You know what I mean? Or something like that. And then it's like, how far do you go? Right. Cause then you're like, well, I'm the garage door guy, so mine should have all the bells and whistles. And you know what I mean? So it starts adding up, and then I don't know. It's just really hard when you do it for yourself. So I always dealt with old stuff. I still got that Scientific. I got to show you guys. I still got that stashed, and that is a sweet opener. That I think is for a residential side. I think it's 7 foot. I cannot believe I found one that small. One of the techs, Mr. J, found it. And it's a bad machine, man. That Scientific. I love those old school. It's big and cloggy. It's got the rollers and everything, but it's like looking at a 1957 Chevy Bel Air. It's just beautiful looking at it, or like maybe like a 1967, like a GTO, Pontiac GTO. I just love it. I could sit there in a lawn chair all day and just stare at them. I just love them. Eric says, I remember the LiftMaster thing scenario and oh yeah. Yeah, I think I already said what opener. Yes, it says I got an old TV like that. It's funny. Is there a good place I can reach out to you? Eric, you can always hit me up. Write this down. I'll write it down here. I don't know what's ever best for you guys. I was thinking about the other day, because I know people still reach out, and I'm always like, man, I put my email in the description below. I'll see if this shows up. But some of you guys, like I said, we don't have a bunch of crazies here tonight, so we can do this. 9675. I'll throw it up here. You can have you can always text me at this number. The 231-720-9675. bada bing. But I feel like I'm gonna get a hat. I'm gonna get a hat with my email. I'm gonna get my phone number. Maybe just my email to start with. I'm just gonna get a hat made. I see OSOS. He's got like garage door springs on his or something. Maybe it's code. Maybe that's code for his phone number. That's what he's got on there. He's always got some pretty cool hats, pretty cool shades too. He needs to sell some shades. I need some sunglasses from those Callies. But yeah, you can always shoot me. Like I said, you can always send me pictures. I'm always grateful for pictures. I love pictures. Any situations. I mean, the one with oil, what was it? The olive oil or whatever it was on there, vegetable oil. That'd be cool to see. You know what I mean? I love the pictures, uh, Tony he sends me a lot of pictures. Tanner sends me pictures, uh, you know, but you guys are always more than welcome to send me, or if you got questions or anything too, I'll always try to help you out the best I can. Um, but I love the pictures, especially seeing the other side, other states and stuff. It's just in service vehicles, tools. I mean, you just name it. I mean, you could pretty much probably take a picture of your boots and the gravel below you, and I'm gonna be like, "Ooh, that's pretty cool." Like, look at the gravel; it's not the same color as around here. I'm just weird like that. I don't know why. I just love seeing other. It feels like I feel like I'd fit in more. You know what I mean? If I could experience it. Like I'd be like, oh, I know what to expect down there. You know what I mean, man? They got like I bought a truck. I think it was from maybe like South Dakota, North Dakota, somewhere out there, man. And the dirt that was in this thing, it was red dirt. The tires were all chewed up, like they drove on some gnarly gravel roads its whole life, or at least for the set of those tires. I've never seen chips out of tires the way this did, and I was like, where did this truck come from? I never found the background story on it, but there's just all these things. Tony's always got to be the Surewinder. I'm surprised Tony is here. Tony, you're not advertising the Surewinder. Tony is the live. Yeah, man. What's up with the live man? Is it good? Uh, let's see. Tony reaches out here. Is this scientific traction drive? Yeah. So Eric, I think scientific it is. It's a tube, and the tube spins, and then it's got those wheels that are on an angle. Um, so yeah, it just grabs. I finally got one out of all the years. I never finally I got one. I still got my old crane opener, which really cool looking little opener. I should do another show on those because I got the crane opener. I got the scientific, which I was really happy about that. I think I might keep my eyes out for one of these. If you guys are talking about, was it the Moromatics? I feel like I remember them, but it's not, but I remember listening to them when they ran and they were quiet. Um, but I like those old ones too. If they got the funky colors, it's always cool to see the ones that got unique colors. I love those. What is it? I added a big attached garage to my house 2 years ago. I put in the new LiftMaster. Can't remember it off top of my head. And the new Midland door. Still haven't not hooked up my queue. That's how it goes, man. I tell you, it's just it's just when it's your own stuff, it's like you don't want to, it's the back burner, it's always the back burner. That's why, what is that saying? The best mechanic always drives the crappiest car. You know what I mean? Because he can always fix it, and he doesn't want to work on his own stuff or whatever. It's kind of the same way. Yes, the old scientific. Didn't. I've been using old springs from jobs. I replaced springs to see how much life is left. Dude, that's kind of cool. Not much life less than a year. Man, I think that's kind of cool. I don't know. We had an oil change place. I remember we started running into a problem. The oil change place, the one guy that worked there, he nickel and dime guy, right? And he didn't even own it. He's just a good old boy. And we'd always take the springs down, right? And he'd be sitting there scratching his face. He goes, "Well, what's wrong with that spring?" And I'm like, "Well, not really much." I'm like, "It's got wear and tear on it." "Yeah, but it's not broke, right?" "This one's broke. I can see that, but this one's not." And I'm like, "Yeah. Well, let's put that back downstairs." You know what I mean? Because they had a basement to the place. Well, we started running into it in these other locations. He'd work at different locations. We kind of do that. Well, we weren't being the best about labeling things, or like, so what I started doing, I use those white markers, or I would, I put labels, tags on them, but tags sometimes still get ripped, from people moving them around and just oil changes. Everything's nasty and stuff. We'd start going there. We'd start installing, and he'd be like, "Oh, we got one right here." He'd bring it up, whatever, and you just kind of look at it. You're like, and because it's an oil change place, everything's oily, so nothing gets rust on it. Everything looks pristine almost. And you're like, okay. So you put, you're putting one new spring up, and you're putting a U spring up, and all of a sudden the springs are breaking. Right? We started getting to a weird off track type of deal. Well, the owner calls me up, and we were friends, and he's like, "What in the H is going on here?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Why are you guys were just here 3 months ago to change these springs out, and now you're back." And I'm like, "Yeah." Like, well, here's the problem. I'm like, Bobby here, he keeps saving the springs. We put them downstairs and they're getting mixed into our batch. That's bull crap. Knock that crap off. And I'm like, "Yep, you got it, boss." So we ended up having to, I had to hide them from him, like shove them in the van real quick, and he's like, "Where's the old one?" "Oh, they're both broke, man, both broke." And, or just to entertain him, I would put in white, those goopy markers like used. So when we go down there, because we would restock them, right? We'd actually replenish them. They had their own springs in the basement. So anytime a spring broke, we just showed up. "Oh, sweet. Let's go downstairs. Should have a set of springs." Sure enough, save them time, or it saved us time, save them money too, right? Because they're not paying for us to come out twice. So it's just something about those used springs you got to be a little bit careful about, especially commercial. And so it kind of, because you think about it, you got to do the same, right? You got to dump the springs, you got to get them off the shaft. I mean, if you're there, you're there. It's like brake pads, right? You normally just don't do one; you do both fronts or both rears. But I think that's funny. I just think that's kind of cool, just to see how long. Kind of does. Springs, how much? They were kind of mellow sky. We weren't bad. We're headed out. Nice. Awesome. That's cool. I'm glad it worked out for Tony. Anyway, I love that. You're still running the Sears. I'd love to see that. The good old Sears. Yeah, they're troopers, man. I love my look at Tony out here. I love my shirt. What jerk. I knew he was gonna bring it up. I had to bring it up. It just wouldn't feel right. Only do this on my door. Oh, I get it. I get it for sure. I figured Sky. I figured that's what you were doing. I was just bringing it up in case there's somebody else watching that's doing commercial or something. Because I didn't really, like I said, I didn't think of that time when I was doing that oil change place. But all of a sudden, I got that phone call and it was like the guy's not. He's not. He's like, "What is going on, man? You guys were just here 3 months ago. You're back on door 8 doing springs. What gives?" And I'm like, "Well, one spring was new, one's old. He's trying to get the life out of it, or we missed it, because it wasn't labeled. It threw us off, and it was just it didn't make any sense. It didn't save any money. It costs them more money when you think about it, because now the labor for us to tear it back apart. It wasn't worth it." Says me to get a Surewinder. My cousin says for me to get, yes, yes. I got that. I don't have it here. I think I left it in the truck or something, but I brung it up, that brochure, and nobody said anything about it. So I'm wondering if that company's still even around. What was it called? Darn it. I wish I had it. It was Winder something. I'll try to bring it up in another video and see if anybody's ever used it. Um, I'd carry it out, but I can't. You're on the desktop. You're too heavy. It says you need to get one. It saves. Yes, Tony. Here we go. Your shoulders, neck pain. Yeah, man, a lot. We're gonna get one. As Tanner says, your cousin's not wrong. Get one. It will change your life. That's awesome. I have two, the brute winders. We do a bunch of big ag doors. Yeah, man. Those big ones, man. I think that's the first one we're gonna go for. We're gonna go for the brute one. Because Resi's, sure, it's nice. Don't get me wrong, quicker and everything, but those big ones, man, they are, especially got multiple. Ouch. I have two 25 by 16 tall. Work great. Spring since. I'm glad I only mess with. Oh, he says Eric says I'm glad I always mess with openers. Nice. What is a Surewinder? So Surewinder is like it's a Tony would be the good salesman on this, but it's basically a contraption. You can basically Google it or YouTube it. You put it on, it'll actually wind the spring for you with a drill. It's really nice. It does help. out your body a lot. That's for sure. Definitely something worth checking into. They're a little bit, cost a little bit of money. You're probably in the $1,200 or give or take or up if you get the Brute Winder, which I didn't realize. I better mention that right now. The Brute Winder is actually made by Winder. It's just the Brute Winder is made for commercial. The Winder is made for residential. So I didn't know that. I wasn't clear on that. It took me until I watched one of their videos to understand. He does giant egg doors too. Nice. Nice. All right, guys. I'm going to jump off here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for all the questions and all the input and all that. It was a pleasure. So hope you guys have a good night. Keep all your fingers. Stay safe out there. We'll see you on the next one. It's like 1,400 and Tony's selling them for 1,200. I'm just joking. Get your Brute Winder or your Winder from Tony. He's going to start selling them. All right, Eric. Good night. That's right. I'm out. See you guys. Have a good one.